Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Woo! Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I ain't talking Cameron. When I say boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, all you regulars here, y'all been knowing and been seeing that this Fat Joe and TA the legend thing been going on for a minute now. It's probably a few years now. The back and forth between them on Instagram, the lives, more recent, the lives with Cuban Link and TA, the Lord Jamar song, the elephant in the room. Well, well, well. We know Fat Joe had sent the lawsuit, I don't know if it was a month or two ago, to TA. And today, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now you got a lot of people just seeing headlines and they reporting on it because they seeing it on various websites. But the difference between them and me is they talking about it, but I got the lawsuit. Choke no joke, trigger warning. This document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. Additionally, there are graphic details of sex trafficking and other criminal activity orchestrated by the defendants. Those defendants being Joseph Antonio Cartagena or Cartagena, aka Fat Joe, Pete Pistol Pete Torres, Richard Rich the Player, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Josh Pater, Eric Juliana Moreira, Sneaker Addict, Tora LLC, Slate Inc., Rock Nation LLC, John Doe's 1 to 10, and Jane Doe's 1 to 10, and defendant ABC Corporations 1 through 10. Now, everybody else is talking about it, but they can't give you the details. I'm getting ready to go through this. Choke no joke, I'm in the building. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you're new here. Shout out to my membership gang. Moderators on deck. Shout out to my moderator, his squad. This one is about to change the appearance on how you look at certain people. Just skimming through this. Oh my God. I didn't think that this was going to go this far, man. Never did I think hip hop go this far. Boy, this right here, this might turn to another criminal lawsuit. Ah, man. Like, joke, no joke, I'm here. Spread the word. We live, baby. Let's get to the show.
Joke, no joke. Yeah. It's joke, no joke. Joke, no joke. Chicken joke, no joke. Joke, no joke. Niggas joke, no joke. Joke, no joke. Yeah. It's joke, no joke. Joke, no joke. Chicken joke, no joke. Joke, no joke. Niggas joke, no joke. What up, y'all? It's Arthur D. Austin, better known as Choke No Joke. We out here at the legendary Tunnel nightclub, or at least where it used to be. Everybody asks me what's the Tunnel. The Tunnel was a nightclub that was owned in the 90s here by Peter Gatien. In 94, Stress Entertainment started a party called Mecca. In 96, Franchise Entertainment took it over and they had it until it closed. All the biggest names in hip hop perform here, from Jay-Z, Meth and Red, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Nas, Puff Daddy and the Family, Eve, you name it, they was all here. If you had heart, you came here. But everybody didn't have heart. So it's time for y'all to enter the club most people feared to enter, the Tunnel.
The Tunnel wasn't a unique hip-hop club, and its foundations were based on the concept of bringing hip-hop from all the boroughs to one location. And it was the brainchild of Peter Gatien. My name is Sterling Cox. I was the head of security.
Alpha Grinion, Brooklyn, New York.
My name is V.
House.
Sincere from Brooklyn.
Glenn Beck. Jumping Lee, whatever Lee you want to call me.
Omega.
Ray Mack.
Diamond,
Craig.
Candy,
Big Box. Big Country.
Ramona Diaz,
Big Penna. Big CB.
John Bass Raleigh.
Sean Brophy, sound engineer.
DJ Johnny Walker Red.
MC Frank Jigger, the celebrity's choice.
Choke No Joke, legendary videographer.
Supreme Bigger Figure. Big Cap. The Warden.
Big G, AKA the ringleader.
The Tunnel was a hip-hop nucleus.
It was the epicenter.
It was the domain, the temple.
It was the Mecca.
It was like the hip-hop Woodstock.
Nothing was that melting pot of hip-hop.
They kept the paradigm going.
It's almost like what Rucker did for like street basketball. The Tunnel was that of music industry.
Hip-hop had a heart. That shit was one of the main arteries.
It was actually a Mecca. That's what the original name of the party was, Mecca.
It was like a time machine. That's how the Tunnel was. You came out a whole different individual.
We went in there, young men with attitudes, and came out there wiser men with our lives.
It was definitely a starting, beginning spot for artists to come and mingle and branch out and get your record heard and get your shit together, really, to go into the next phase of your career.
The Tunnel was not open or did not open. A lot of new artists, or a lot of artists that we know now, to this very day, will have never been known.
All these artists out today need to be happy that the Tunnel was fucking open. Nobody would hear none of y'all singing tight pants niggas right now. The Tunnel was a platform for niggas like Jay and Puff, Wu and Mob and DMX and Rough Riders. Niggas don't respect these niggas today, man. You need to realize, man, without them niggas, man, and their platform, it made a lot of moves for niggas today.
It happened there, it made it relevant.
Became a pillar of hip hop.
The Tunnel is the nucleus of hip hop. And I'll say all the way down south, because when the Tunnel was open, wasn't too much going on down that motherfucker. Y'all can say what y'all want, peace to the south, but New York made the shit pop. New York was where it's at. The Tunnel in New York is where you needed to be to pop.
The Tunnel was definitely a hip-hop nucleus, yo. It was just like the galaxy and bring other planets in. You have people from France, Germany, London, everywhere. If they came to New York, they had to go to the Tunnel.
Hi, from here, I come here to meet you, and I'm going to all the place. I'm going to the Bronx
to Sedgwick Avenue with Cool Hook through the party and Cedar, and then I'm going to the tunnel.
It was our barometer for, you know, how we were really gauging records, and we were really, you know, studying the behavior of the consumer.
And it ain't just like how they do it now. You could just throw a record out and, you know what I'm saying, wait 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever for the shit to bubble. Niggas was putting them records on to see if them shits get that reaction. And if the shit was popping, niggas would fast track it. If it wasn't, niggas would go back to the drawing board.
Absolutely. It's the definition of hip-hop nucleus. Everything was there.
Everything that surrounded hip-hop, from fashion to music, hairstyles.
Like, it encompassed every part of the hip-hop experience, and they put it all in one building on a Sunday night.
If you go as far back to little hole in the walls and little, you know, sensors where people start elaborating, playing the sounds and displaying the culture, to within later on you have places that was up in Harlem, like Harlem World, up in the Bronx called T Connection, just using them as an example of many other places all throughout the city. And then years later, here come places like Union Square and Latin Quarters. The last of the Mohegans of for real hip hop had became the Tunnel.
Tunnel was definitely a hip hop nucleus. It really was. And you gotta say, believe it or not, the wagon master was a one-eyed white guy from Canada, Peter Gation.
Nothing will ever be like this.
Stay the hell. Don't follow those cats. Choke, no joke. You already know. Let's go out the gray, go. Now I'm out the game. Feel good, not pitching in the hood. And I really don't think I could go back to selling crack and stashing them packs in my ass. I maintain weekly money the same, and nah, I don't go through them games. Niggas testing my brain with them triple beams filled with change. Pot crack, grams in the drain, get hit with the fake exchange. Like baking soda flour, after being on Broadway for hours. Getting knocked, being back at start. Niggas testing if I got heart. Pushing me to pop some shots, just stop the ball before the start. Old lady with the binocs, give description to cops. Why they try to tear us apart with that good cop, bad cop. I ain't going for the game, he ain't tell you a thing. Your partners with them saying the same. You tighten them cuffs till you see veins. Stop fucking yanking them down. They might fuck you if you ain't sane. And nigga never sniff cocaine. And I don't care what game or part of the area you claim. Praise Scarface, you must be insane. Nigga, Tony fucked the boss Dane. His right hand man, he's slain to get his back blown out the game. Do it on the low, let nobody know. No pillow talk to home. And if he step on your toes, don't bust a blame. Cause everybody will know. Or get out the game. They say that change is good. It's a lot of stress in the hood, and I know if you could, you would. Get out the game, but you stuck in that time. Wet a nigga in public like Shine. For a witness to drop a dime. For self-defense, do or die. Celebs doing time. Mike Vick on the child line. Even Kobe, Jason Williams, Gage, kick like Shinobi. Little Kim for perjury. You know you done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up, right? Let's go. When it's late night, make sure it's packed tight. And when you take those flights, never eye the Jake in sight. And shake them fuckers when they dead to right. Making a fifth go rumble. Because of stick up trouble. Blasting your gap for a cat, for in fact, with some crap that don't involve you. For some dudes that don't love you, all they wanna do is pawn you until you go down. And don't do shit for you when you lock down, or even when you touch down. But they tell you to go to the pound. The same block that gave you a pound. Years in the pen, now you living again. What mind state are you in? When you back it for 10, and you was just waiting for a teen to come home to relive it again. Entrapment it should be a sin. The way they reel us in, will roll us to a revolving door to bring us in. This shit is insane. The game is insane. The game will fuck with your brain. That's why I'm out the game. Yeah. Just get out the game, man. I know they told y'all there's only 2 ways out. Jail and death. Nah, just get out, nigga. Just get out, man. It's easy. Just walk away, nigga. If they care about you, they'll let you go. If you in the game and you want to go and get a better life, and they won't let you walk away, what do that say? Get out the game, nigga. You want to sleep easy, nigga? Look at these rap niggas, nigga. You want to be the next rapper? Trapper, clapper, federal indictment rapper, huh? I keep telling y'all niggas, man, get out the game, man. Joke no joke. Grego, you already know. The beast is chemical, baby. That's why I'm out the game. Stay the hell. Don't follow those cats.
Choke no joke. We back live and direct. I think I'm gonna go on live on Instagram for this one. I think this is a Instagrammable show. TikTok will definitely hit me with the restrictions. You know, they don't want to hear none of this language. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. The link is in my story, or you can stay right there. All right. Rob in the building. What up? Fish Scale Pisces here. Child, what up? G7 in the building. All right. Maya Biz in the building. Lisa in the building. All right. Nate Capone in the building. Yeah, so like I said, if you've been if you're a loyal one when it comes to Choke No Joke, then you are no stranger to the brother TA the Legend or Fat Joe. If you're a BXer, you're definitely not a stranger. You know who the Terror Squad is. Well, I really don't have to give you out a precursor to this whole thing, because if you like I said, if you a subscriber or you a member of my channel, you know exactly who TA the Legend is, because he's been on my channel a few times. He was on here with Cuban Link. He was on here with the Lord Jamal song that they had that never got released, because Lord Jamal, y'all know how he give it up. He turned to a Ritz crack on you in a minute and just start breaking up. So, but just in case you don't know, TA the Legend, aka Terrence in the lawsuit, Let me put that back up here. That's strange. That's doing that, showing the cursor. Terrence Dixon, that's AKA TA. Like I said, that's TA the legend. Y'all seen him on my channel. You seen him on YouTube with other people. You see him on his Instagram, That Strategy. And him and Joe been going at it for a minute. You know, Joe called him a couch surfer and all this stuff. And, you know, he made claims of being Fat Joe's ghostwriter for X amount of songs. And then for whatever reason, I guess Fat Joe let him go or he fired him. I don't know. But he wasn't, according to him, he wasn't compensated. I guess the back and forth, as he came on the channel and said that allegedly, he's been threatened by some of the guys. He even had audio of these threats. And the last time I spoke to him was the last time he was on my show. I guess, he didn't like, me saying, be careful of some of the stuff that he was saying, because I didn't want them coming at me for the things that he was saying. And, sometimes when you ask people not to say certain things on your channel, they don't understand that, they put our channels at risk, with saying certain things. So we haven't spoke since that last show y'all seen. And I can understand him being upset with me, because he wanted to get his ish off. And me, I'm like, yo, if you feel that way, go to the precinct, is what I said, right? And he like, nah, I'm not going to do that, this, that, and the third. But I guess he took the next best step was to not put his freedom at risk and do what niggas do. And when they come to business, you file a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking a risk of going to jail or whatever. And, he said he wasn't going to the police. So he just go and file a lawsuit. And, in today's world, that's what you got to do when we not young no more and reckless and don't got no more biz in us. You go file a lawsuit, because if you go and you smack up Jimmy Iovine or Leo or one of these type of people, these business people, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to call the police. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to sue you. So that's where we at. And if you look at this lawsuit, you can see you got Joe, you got Pistol Pete, you got Rich Player, you got these dudes, they claim to be gangsters, right? So what is TA to do? Go out there and try to do something to them and risk going to jail? When these dudes is you got Pistol Pete with the whole kill all rats, and this nigga's on YouTube right now talking about how they shut down Rikers Island, or no, not Rikers Island. What do you say? Kasaki, and they stabbed up all the blacks in the jail, and like you talking all that type of stuff. You see Cuban links get cut in the face. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna run up on y'all with a gun. I'm going to run up on a lawyer. I'm a lawyer up, and we're going to handle it that way. So I believe that's how we got here. So, like I said, I got the lawsuit here. I'm going to go through it. Let's see here. How should I do this? I know I can do it. Okay. So this is a hell of a lawsuit. So the parties involved in this lawsuit is Terrence Dixon, aka TA, which is TA the Legend. If you don't know, that's his stage name, versus Joseph Antonio Cartagena or Cartagena, however you say tomato, I say tomato, aka Fat Joe, Pete Pistol Pete Torres, Richard Rich Player, Jasper, Erica Juliana Marea, I don't know who that is. Sneaker Addict Touring LLC, I believe that's Fat Joe's touring company. Maybe Slate Inc. I don't know what that is. We will find out. Rock Nation LLC, that's Fat Joe's management. John Doe's 1 to 10 and Jane Doe's 1 to 10, and defendant ABC Corporations 1 to 10. So let's get into it, right? So it starts off with let me spread this out a little bit so I can make it bigger so I can sit back. All right. Plaintiff Terrence Dixon, aka TA, and through his undersigned counsel, TA Blackburn Law LLC, PLLC, brings this civil action against defendants Joseph Antonio Cartagena, professionally known as Fat Joe, Pistol Pete, Rich Player, Erica, Sneaker Addict Touring, Slate, Rock Nation, and John Doe's 1 through 10, Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporations 1 through 10, asserting civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. Oh, God. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act. RICO? Oh, boy. Yeah. Now, for y'all that don't know, this is the same way Cassie's lawsuit went, with these same allegations or similar, right? Which later did what? Turned criminal. and related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum meru, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. This action arises from a deliberate and sustained campaign of exploitation wherein intentionally recognized entertainer manipulates and abuses a creative partner through an organized network of enforcers, associates, and shell companies. Defendants systematically engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion against plaintiff Dixon, all intended to enrich defendant Cartagena and his associates while deliberately suppressing, silencing, and erasing plaintiff's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to the defendant Fat Joe's professional success and personal brand. Preliminary statement. This action arises from a calculated, sustained, and multi-layered exploitation of. Hold on one second, y'all. That's my Duke. I gotta get that real quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, y'all. Hold on for a second. I got a special guest in the building. I want to holler at the people, at the folks for Juneteenth. You know what I mean? Yo, what up? What up?
Man, what's up, man? It's Shiv. The most important thing today is all about, the day we got free. At the same time, we're not all the way free yet, but we will be. I think it's really important that those platforms we have to promote, health and more importantly, unity. And so, I've been fucking with you for a long time, but I think it's really important that we start using these platforms to support each other and make a better way. Every person. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. A lot of people miss that calling to be in the entertainment business, especially as a rapper. I think the rappers always been important in hip hop. They was always speaking the truth or speaking things that we needed to hear and wanted to hear. But nowadays, it seems like a lot of guys who want to be rappers back in the day, either they wasn't talented enough to be that or popular enough to be that. And they feel that it's their chance to talk about each other on some type of platform. We're going to take today as a real positive day. So whatever we can do together to make it better, I'm always there.
All right, I appreciate that. We definitely gonna keep it positive over here. I don't know if you heard the news, but this dude Fat Joe just got hit with a lawsuit, and that's what I'm covering today. So I don't know how positive that is, but he got a huge lawsuit going on. So let's wrap with another day. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna expose the ones who need to be exposed. But me is somebody we do know about who got people something to talk about. At least they did something in the hip hop culture. Because you got a lot of people, they might be all things like something like history. History known Fat Joe really was a rapper, really was out there. Shout out to you to your shit.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, well, tap in with me later, man. And I appreciate the call, man. Happy belated Father's Day to you too. All right, y'all. Let's get back into this. Sorry, Instagram. Yeah, I got cut off. You see how impatient people be? Come on, Choke. Damn. If I get a phone call, y'all can't sit around and wait for 2 seconds. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Suge Knight, man. I didn't expect that. He gonna make pork butt shit in his pamper. Calling me. Hold on, y'all. I'm just typing in, get my Instagram back going for the impatient ones. All right. Why am I frozen? There you go. All right. All right, y'all. Let's get back into it. To all you impatient ones, I don't do this for you. I do it for my patient people here. All right. So don't come rushing me. All right. This action arises from a calculated, sustained, and multi-layered exploitation of a creative partner by an internationally recognized entertainer, aided by an extensive network of associates and corporate entities operating in concert to defraud, intimidate, and financially exploit the plaintiff. For more than 16 years, plaintiff Terrence Dixon, aka TA, dedicated his talent, labor, and loyalty to the defendant Joseph to Fat Joe. I ain't gonna keep saying out his whole goddamn name. Professionally known as Fat Joe. During that period, plaintiff act not only as Carter Genius hype man, but also contributed as a lyricist, background vocalist, security team member, and creative collaborator. Despite plaintiff's integral contributions, defendant Fat Joe's systematically excluded him from fair compensation, proper attribution, and the substantial royalties and profits generated from his creative labor. Instead, plaintiff was consistently underpaid, denied songwriting credit, and deliberately concealed from royalties and back-end compensation. The plaintiff, TA, contributed to lyrics, vocals, and creative direction to numerous commercially successful songs performed and monetized by defendant Fat Joe, including but not limited to his hits Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over the B Word. Dixon's creative fingerprints, distinctive voice, and stage presence are embedded in multiple critical acclaimed and commercially lucrative albums from which defendant Fat Joe continues to profit without recognition, recognition or fair compensation to the plaintiff. Defendant Cartagena's, the defendant Fat Joe's exploitation extended beyond financial fraud. He employed his industry influence and power dynamics to subject plaintiff to psychological coercion and economic control, forcing the plaintiff into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, So he was watching this nigga, sounded diddy-ish, allegedly, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if plaintiff refused to comply. Defendant Fat Joe deliberately withheld travel accommodations, misappropriated per diem payments, and exploited plaintiff's financial dependence and professional loyalty to ensure submission, silence, and domination. Assisting defendant Fat Joe in maintaining his criminal enterprise, where key associates and enforcers, including defendant Pistol Pete and Rich the Player, actively engaged in physical threats, violent assaults, and intimidation tactics on Fat Joe's explicit instructions, sustaining a climate of fear and coercion against the plaintiff and others who challenged the enterprise's control. These niggas is lining this nigga up for a RICO early. Defendant Erica Juliana Moreira further facilitated Fat Joe's fraudulent schemes through unauthorized legal representation, fraudulent corporate filings, and the creation of deceptive corporate structure that enabled the concealment and diversion of proceeds owed to plaintiff and the laundering of illicit funds. Corporate defendants Slate Inc. and Sneaker Addict Inc. Touring served as instrumental vehicles for the enterprise, sophisticated financially fraud and money laundering schemes. Slate Inc. operated as the central financial conduit, systematically concealing illicit proceeds. Is that a what do you call it? Why am I drawing a blank right now? Accounting firm. At the same time, Sneaker Addict Touring LLC fraudulently secured federal Paycheck Protection Program PPP loans by falsifying business activities and diverting federal funds into the enterprise. Defendant Rock Nation LLC, the current management and representative entity for Fat Joe knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating the plaintiff's authorship, rights, and royalties interests. Roc Nation deliberately facilitated Fat Joe's unlawful conduct by filing a meritless lawsuit against the plaintiff and his counsel to intimidate, harass, and obstruct plaintiff's legitimate claims against Cartagena and his co-defendants. Roc Nation, through its CEO, Desiree Perez, extracted 10% of all revenue generated by Fat Joe and his associate businesses, including through joint management of business records, oversight of touring revenue, and enforcement of policies plaintiff was required to follow during his work with defendant. The defendant, Cartagena, also, no, the defendant, Fat Joe, alongside Torres, that's Pistol Pete, Rich the Player, well, I forgot the chick name. Everybody calling me right now. Moretti, Slate Inc., Sneaker Addict Touring. Roc Nation created and sustained is that an emergency? If they call one more time, I'm picking up. Created and sustained a deliberately exploitive arrangement in which the plaintiff was systematically denied proper compensation, authorship recognition, and lawful recourse. I'll call you back. I'll call you back. Other than 16 years, over more than 16 years, defendants collectively enriched themselves through plaintiffs' uncompensated labor, creativity, and professional contributions, generating substantial royalties, performance fee, and brand equity from which the plaintiff received virtually no benefit. Additionally, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes by submitting intentionally inflated and fraudulent income reports to the IRS, significantly overstated the actual compensation plaintiff received. This deliberate misrepresentation of the plaintiff's income was designed to conceal the defendant's extensive wage theft, artificially inflate the plaintiff's tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the financial realities underlying the plaintiff's exploited labor. The defendant Cartagena's criminal and fraudulent conduct is not speculative. It has been corroborated by firsthand witnesses, recorded phone calls, and documented evidence in the possession of accountant Doe. So I guess whoever the accountant was, they listed him as a John or a Jane Doe, personally handled, which would make them a witness, I guess, who personally handled the financial affairs of Fat Joe and confirmed that, one, the plaintiff was intentionally excluded from formal payment systems. Two, W-2s were falsely inflated and reported to the IRS to create a fictitious paper trail. Three, the defendant Fat Joe personally collected $600,000 and $200,000 in cash at different times from the UPNYC retail stores. 4, Roc Nation received 10% of all revenue from Fat Joe businesses. And 5, numerous financial records were fabricated or withheld to avoid paying the plaintiff the royalties and compensations that he was owed. Further, confirming the illicit nature of defendant Fat Joe's operation, employees at Up NYC, a small sneaker and apparel store, routinely flaunted luxury goods, including G-Wagons, Range Rovers, Rolexes, and designer clothing, despite earning little more than New York's minimum wage. This conspicuous consumption, combined with large volumes of cash-only transactions and the complete absence of legitimate revenue documentation, reflects the store's role as a laundering front for the Cartagena enterprise. Oh, God. Oh, this is going to turn criminal. Defendant Cartagena earns an estimated $60,000 per month in royalties and at least $20,000 monthly in streaming revenue, none of which has ever been shared with the plaintiff despite his significant authorship and performance contributions to the monetized songs. In one document instance, defendant Cartagena pocketed a $30,000 Live Nation performance check for the All the Way Up tour, money that was rightly allocated for the plaintiff's contributions. Cartagena used those funds to pay off his back taxes owed to the IRS and confirmed by a witness who was part of his management team at the time. The plaintiff was not only exploited financially, but also subjected to a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exposition, oh my God, forced voyeurism. Let me get the proper expositionism. Yeah, voyeurism. Oh, that's ugly. Expositionism and surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex acts under observation, being filmed or directed by the defendant in the presence of others. This sounding Diddy-ish. Tactics designed to control the plaintiff's body, erode his and no, anatomy, and ensured his silence. These sex-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise culture of dominance and humiliation enforced by the defendant's associates such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. in Miami on Market America's corporate yacht and at a mansion and at his mansion properties. The defendant orchestrated repeated orgies. This is Diddy-ish. The creation of fraudulent pay stubs, the use of W-2s while filing 1099s, and the concealment of payroll fraud for the enterprise gain are textbook RICO predicate acts under mail wire fraud and tax fraud statutes. The scheme furthers the enterprise coercive structure and is directly tied to the financial exploitation. Plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. Defendant used his status as a corporate sponsor, celebrity influence, and financial control to compel plaintiff and others into degrading sexual performances, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed the encounters. Very Diddy-ish. These incidents occurred under the conditions that included the presence of corporate security, staff, surveillance cameras, and the defendant's management entourage. Yet, no intervention occurred. Supporting the inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. Defendant also used social media burner accounts, including BitGig, that's BITTTTGGG, and Dr. Shivag, that's ZHIVAG. So I guess he's saying that Fat Joe allegedly got some fake Instagram accounts or social media accounts. To issue vile threats and witness intimidation such as, you love your family, right? Nigga, you better fall back in 48 hours. Yo, we let you live. These statements were interpreted by the plaintiff and his legal team as part of the broader scheme to intimidate, silence, and obstruct the plaintiff's participation in this case. These acts constitute violations of the 18 U.S.C. 1512, which is called witness tampering, and 18 U.S.C. 875D, interstate threats, and fall squarely within the pattern of violent racketeering activity under the Civil RICO statute. This is going to turn criminal. In retaliation for asserting his rights, Roc Nation and defendant Fat Joe jointly filed a baseless lawsuit against the plaintiff and his counsel. The complaint, riddled with procedural defects and legal inaccuracies, was filed for the sole purpose of intimidating the plaintiff, diverting judicial resources, and chilling with his First Amendment rights to seek redress. The retaliatory lawsuit was intended not to prevail on legal merit, but to create public confusion, burden plaintiffs' counsel with discovery costs, and dissuade other victims and whistleblowers from coming forward with evidence of the defendant's enterprise activity. This conduct violates 42 U.S.C., which is conspiracy to obstruct justice, New York justiciary law, deceit or conclusion by an attorney, and federal witness retaliation statutes under 18 U.S.C. 1512b3. As part of a coordinated cover-up, Fat Joe submitted ghost contracts and backdate split sheets to perform rights organization, including BMI and ASCAP, omitting the plaintiff authorship credits. These records were created after the commercial release of the music and falsely assigned 100% publishing right to the defendant and his business entities. The fraudulent documents were designed to mislead royalty agencies, divert back-end payments, and erase the plaintiff from the creative history of the works. Even though the plaintiff's vocals and lyrical contributions were readily identifiable on the tracks. These actions not only deprived the plaintiff of at least $600,000 in projected royalties, but also ensured his exclusion from future licensing, catalog valuation, and digital revenue derived from streaming platforms. The fraudulent backdating and ghost contracts constitute predicate acts under wire fraud and conspiracy, along with falsifying business records. The enterprise's financial arm further engaged in systematic laundering and tax evasion, and evidenced by repeated cash disbursement of over $200,000 and $600,000 at a time, withdrawn up from Up NYC with no documented ledger, reported mechanical rights or tax compliance. The defendant Cartagena's post-conviction tax conduct included repeated failure to report foreign earnings, the use of nominee entities, and cash-based laundering through corporate fronts, reflects the sophistication and scope of the enterprise's concealment strategies. These acts of structured concealment, misappropriation, and intimidation represent a pattern of criminal conduct carried out through an ongoing association. In fact, enterprise meeting all elements under 18 U.S.C. in supporting both closed-ended and open-ended continuity under RICO. Jurisdiction and venue. The court has subject matter jurisdiction over this action according to the plaintiff's claim arise under federal law, specifically the Trafficking Victims Protection Act and the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act, which is RICO. This is going to get, we've seen how this goes before. This court further possesses supplemented jurisdiction over the plaintiff's related state law claims, including unjust enrichment, quantum merit, fraudulent concealment, constructive trust, intentional infliction of emotional distress, assault, battery, fraud, conspiracy, unauthorized practice of law, and fraudulent financial reporting, according to 28 U.S.C. 1367A. These claims are so intertwined and related to the plaintiff's federal claims that they form part of the same case or controversy under Article 3 of the United States Constitution. This court has personal jurisdiction over Fat Joe, Pistol Pete, Rich Player, defendant Erica Moradia, defendant Rock Nation, defendant Sneaker Addict, defendant Slate, and all remaining defendants according to New York CPLR 302A1, as well as constitutional due process principles, because each defendant purposely or purposefully conducted systematic, continuous, and substantial business transactions within the jurisdiction. The wrongful conduct and predicate acts alleged herein, including fraud, exploitation, financial manipulation, violent enforcement, and concealment of plaintiffs' creative contributions, occurs substantially and directly within the judicial, what is that? Judicial, judicial district. I'm tongue-tied as a mother have over here. During the relevant period, defendants conducted extensive commercial and artistic operations in the Southern District of New York, including but not limited to entering performance contracts, maintaining recording studios and corporate offices, receiving royalty and licensing income, orchestrating financial and tax fraud schemes, and directly facilitating the exploitation and suppression of the plaintiff's intellectual property rights, financial interests, and personal anonymity. Venue is proper in the Southern District of New York, and because, one, a substantial portion of the predicate acts are wrongful conduct giving rise to the claims, including negotiation and execution of performance and publishing agreements, music production, financial manipulation, tax fraud, concealment of the authorship rights, violation, enforcement, and acts of coercion occurred in the judicial district. Defendants individually and collectively maintain significant business operations, corporate offices, creative studios, financial and contractual relationships, and music industry contracts within the Southern District of New York, rendering this venue is central to the enterprise, ongoing operations, and the claims at issue. Therefore, this court is the appropriate and most convenient forum for adjudicating all claims asserted against each of the named defendants in this action. The parties, Terrence, aka TA the Legend, is an individual residing in New York State in the state of New York, from approximately from 2005 to 2020. The plaintiff worked closely with the defendant in multiple capacities, including but not limited to hype man and on-stage performer, songwriter and co-author of numerous commercially released tracks, background vocalist and creative contributor in studio productions, and tour security and logistical liaison during domestic and international events. The plaintiff's work formed the creative and structural foundation for many of the defendant's recorded songs and live performances, yet he was systematically denied credit, compensation, and royalties. Defendants, Fat Joe is a high-profile rapper. We already know who Fat Joe is. During his time working with the defendant, the plaintiff authored or co-authored dozens of songs, including but not limited to Congratulations, Money Over Itches, Ice Cream, Cupcake, Blackout, Dirty Diana, Porn Star, Okay, Okay, Music, Ha Ha, How Did We Get Here, No Problems, I Chopped Up All the Way Up, 300 Brolic, Crack House, All I Do Is remix verse, Red Cafe remix, Winding on Me, Coca Baby, and Get It for Life. These songs appeared on albums and projects including Jose 2, The Dark Side Volume 1, Elephant in the Room, The Fugitive, Loyalty, and other collaborative efforts released through the defendant's affiliated labels and distribution networks. All relevant times, the defendant exercised sole control over the contracts, budgets, tour management, licensing, and credit attributions, and intentionally omitted the plaintiff's name from liner notes, publishing registrations, and royalty structure, despite the plaintiff's direct contributions to these works, creative and commercial success. Yo, sometimes some people y'all gotta know, man. Y'all gotta go get your own. Y'all gotta go learn how to register. If you work on a song with a person, right? Especially if you writing or you working with a producer, you gotta go and sign up to the BMIs, the ASCAPs. And when you in the studio with this person and this song is done and you know this song is coming out, you got to go register that stuff yourself. You don't need these niggas to register yourself to make sure you get your split. If you got your own publishing company, you can go and sign up and register your songs yourself. Richard Gispati, aka Rich Player, is an individual believed to reside in New York and in Miami, Florida. Rich Player acts as Fat Joe's business manager and head of enforcement operations, coordinating threats, active violence, financial structuring, and retaliation against enterprise opponents, including the plaintiff. Rich the Player was directly involved in orchestrating threats and retaliatory actions targeting the plaintiff, as documented through recorded communications. See, back in the day, niggas could do that. Threaten niggas, call niggas, threaten niggas, call a man, yo, if y'all see that nigga, get that nigga. Text niggas, yo, if you see that nigga, then you do that today. Look at Diddy case. All those threats is documented. Even if you deleted it, they still got it. So when you sitting there and you threatening niggas and you calling niggas, threatening niggas, and you telling, you putting bags on niggas' heads and all that shit, not today, not no more. Your ass going to jail. They out, like you see in Diddy case, you can't delete nothing. So as soon as you send threats of you gonna do this and you gonna do that, yo, get this nigga. And then this happens. Now, if this all goes criminal, soon as they grab Fat Joe and all these niggas' phones, those threats are still there, bro. If them niggas got a fake account and they threatening niggas through fake accounts, it's still going to lead right back to him, bro. And if what he's saying is true and they start looking into this, or they come and try to pick this case up and they start going through these phone niggas, they go through these dudes' phone records, Joe gonna be the new Diddy. Quick. Erica, who is an individual upon information and belief, resides in the state of Florida. Erica illegally represented herself as a legal agent and counsel, despite lacking proper authorization to practice law in Florida. Oh, she gonna get in trouble. That's if she's not a lawyer. I would show you. Well, this is public record, but I'm not going to show this because they got her name, a phone number, an address. Yeah, I ain't going to show y'all this. I want to show you a picture. I cannot show you her picture without. I ain't going to take no chances because I don't want to put her information out there. She actively participated in She actively participated in creating and managing fraudulent corporate entities to conceal and launder the proceeds of the enterprise's illegal activities. Erica's actions facilitated financial fraud, obstruction of justice, and unauthorized legal practice, causing direct injury to the plaintiff. Sneaker Addict Touring LLC, a limited liability company owned, operated, or controlled by defendant Cartagena, utilized by Cartagena Enterprise as a vehicle for fraudulent activities. Specifically, Sneaker Addict Touring LLC fraudulently obtained Paycheck Protection Program PPP loans under false pretenses, representing non-existing or inflated business activities to misappropriate federal funds. Slate Inc., a Florida-based company or corporate entity serving as the central financial conduit of the Cartagena enterprise. Slate Inc. facilitated the laundering of illicit funds derived from enterprise activities through structured financial transactions, including shell entities like Believe That LLC, Woo Inc., and RFSO Valley LLC. I don't know if that's supposed to be RFSO Valley LLC. Slate Inc.'s financial structuring was centering to conceal income streams generated from plaintiff uncredited labor and fraudulent financial practices. Rock Nation LLC is a Delaware limited liability company which is principal place of business is 540 West 26th Street in New York. Roc Nation manages defendant Fat Joe's business affairs upon an information and belief has taken control over his music catalog. His publishing rights and intellectual property since 2017. The plaintiff alleges Roc Nation received at least 10% of all income earned by Fat Joe and his companies, appointed a director who directly supervised the plaintiff, acted as a joint employer by exercising control over the plaintiff's labor and reporting structure. Four, aided and abetted in diversion of the plaintiff's royalties, concealment of authorship, and retaliation against the plaintiff and his counsel through a baseless lawsuit. Defendants John Doe's 1 to 10 and Jane Doe's 1 to 10 are natural persons whose identities are currently unknown to plaintiff, but are believed to have aided and embedded, participated in, or benefit from the unlawful acts described herein. These individuals may include members of Fat Joe's management team, booking agents, publishing administration, tour management, accountings, business associates, or other parties responsible for executing or concealing Fat Joe's exploitative conduct. The plaintiff will amend the complaint to name these parties as discovery progresses. Defendant ABC Corporation 1 through 10, corporate entities, limited liability companies, partnership, and other business organizations who true names and identities are unknown to the plaintiff. These entities may have These entities may have contracted the plaintiff or the defendant, issues compensations, receives performances or licensing income, or held intellectual property right concerning the plaintiff's work. I need to turn this goddamn light down. This shit's too bright in my eyes. I can't even see this shit. The plaintiff will amend the complaint to identify these entities when their identities are asserted. Tolling of the statute of limitations discovery rule. The plaintiff alleges that Fat Joe fraudulently concealed material facts concerning compensation, per diem allocations, authorship credit, publishing revenue, and contractual rights throughout the duration of their professional relationship. The plaintiff did not and could not reasonably discover the extent of the defendant's fraudulent conduct until 2024. When a former manager revealed that the defendant had secretly withheld performance funds, misappropriated royalties, and deliberately omitted the plaintiff from credit-bearing documentation. These documents were later confirmed by an accountant, Doe, who had direct access to the internal financial and employment records of the enterprise. So this means possibly Fat Joe done rubbed some people the wrong way, and they giving up information too. He might have screwed somebody else that don't like him, that had information that is probably like, oh, this get back, nigga. Yeah, I got some info for you. Throughout the relevant period, defendant Cartagena, Fat Joe, maintained exclusive control over all the booking agreements, financial disbursement records, and publishing registrations. The plaintiff was denied access to these materials and fed repeated verbal reassurances that he would be taken care of, thereby suppressing inquiry into his compensation status. Under New York law, the statute of limitations for fraud-based claims is subject to the discovery rule, which tolls occur until the plaintiff discovers or reasonably should have discovered the fraudulent conduct. New York courts consist toll limitations periods in cases where the defendant enjoys superior access to information and holds a fiduciary or confidential relationship with the plaintiff, given the deeply unequal balance of power between the parties and the defendant's gatekeeping of all relevant documents. Tolling is not only warranted, but necessary. Factual black background. A lot of this stuff is repetitive. From 2005 to 2022, T.A. the Legend worked in close partnership with Fat Joe and key members of the Cartagena enterprise, including defendants Pistol Pete, Rich Player, Erica, Slating, Sneaker Addict, and Rock Nation. Over 16 years, the plaintiff contributed substantially to Fat Joe's creative output, stage shows, brand development, and optional logistics, enabling Fat Joe to build a multi-million-dollar public persona and enterprise. I'm going to skip some of this because it's repetitive. He co-wrote lyrics, structured hooks, and recorded background vocals used on release tracks. Performed at more than 200 live shows, serving as primary crowd energizer and on stage counterpart to the defendant. Managed travel logistics, including equipment transport, personal security, and emergency arrangements. Acted as Fat Joe's bodyguard and handler during domestic and international tours. Contributed to branding strategy, music concepts, and studio ideation critical to album development. Defendant Fat Joe and the enterprise, including Rock Nation, Slate, and Sneaker Addict Touring, reaped substantial financial reward from the plaintiff's uncompensated labor, profiting from the plaintiff's creative and operational contributions without providing proper credit or compensation. They get into royalties and all that stuff. The songs again, this, that, yeah, more of that. More of that, more of that. Let's get into these joints, 157 pages. Let's get into this. Coercive control, psychological manipulation, and threats of harm. Defendant Fat Joe control over TA the Legend extended far beyond mere financial exploitation or denial of credit. Over 16 years, defendant cultivated and deliberated environment of psychological manipulation, intimidation, and persistent threats to ensure the plaintiff continued submission, silence, and loyalty despite ongoing abuse, exploitation, and humiliation. The defendant, Fat Joe, frequently warned the plaintiff with chilling explicitness, repeatedly stating, "Nobody leaves Terror Squad in one piece." He often reinforced this threat by openly referring to former associates who had suffered violent reprisals after falling out of favor. For example, defendant explicitly invoked the notorious assault on Lewis Cuban Lee. Fat Joe explicitly invoked the notorious assault on Lewis Cuban Link Tibon, who was viciously attacked, permanently scarred, and publicly humiliated following his departure from Fat Joe's circle. These statements were not mere idle threats or exaggeration. They constituted explicit and calculated warnings deliberately issued to TA to convey that any act of resistance, disloyalty, or demand of fair treatment will inevitably lead to severe physical harm, public disgrace, professional sabotage, or worse. Through these sustained and credible threats, the defendant intentionally reinforced the message that the plaintiff had no viable path to safety, to safely exit their working relationship or demand rightful compensation without facing devastating personal consequences. The defendant methodically cultivated an atmosphere where fear of violent retaliation, abandonment abroad, and career destruction permanent the plaintiff daily experience effectively destroying any notion of anatomy or genuine choice. The plaintiff working conditions were oppressive and unpredictable, deliberately designed to amplify his vulnerability and dependency. The defendant employed persistent verbal abuse, threats of physical violence, erratic and insufficient payment, manipulative control over travel and accommodations, and continuous humiliation. Collectively, these coercive tactics resulted in chronic emotional and psychological distress, profound anxiety, and severe trauma that continue to affect the plaintiff to this day. The plaintiff systematically denied basic security or stability, with the defendant frequently threatening to strand him from far, to frequently threaten to strand him, to leave him in foreign locations without resources or assistance. On multiple occasions, these threats became reality, leaving plaintiffs stranded and without access to adequate food or shelter or a safe transit back home, further intensifying his fear, insecurity, and forced dependency. The consistent invocation of past acts of violence by Fat Joe, such as the brutal attack on Cuban Link, was intentional strategy. The defendant purposely leveraged these prior violent incidents to establish the credibility of his threats, effectively placing the plaintiff in a constant state of apprehension of psychological captivity. The looming threat of physical harm was not hypothetical, but created, continuously reinforced by explicit verbal warnings and visible reminders of prior violent acts. These psychological harm inflicted upon plaintiff by the defendant's coercive methods were found and lasting. Over 16 years, defendants sustained use of intimidation, violent threats, emotional manipulation, economical control, and forced isolation results. And the plaintiff is suffering severe emotional injuries, including chronic anxiety, deliberating fear, system consistent with post-traumatic stress disorder, and loss of self-esteem, and lasting damage to his mental and emotional well-being. The defendant's use of violence, threats, and psychological intimidation was calculated, tactic, integral to maintaining control over the plaintiff and securing ongoing submission and compliance. These methods of coercion went far beyond mere the workplace disputes of contractual disagreements, constituting explicit acts of extortion, intimidation, and forced labor. Each threat, warning, and act of psychological manipulation were deliberate, reinforcing that Fat Joe's dominance and perpetrating plaintiffs involuntary labor and silence. Collectively, these coercive tactics demonstrated a calculated and sustained pattern of psychological and emotional abuse, intentionally implemented by Fat Joe and his associates to maintain the plaintiff's exploitation, submission, and silence. Sexual exploitation and humiliation under duress. In addition to systematic financial exploitation and relentless psychological abuse, Fat Joe deliberately subjected T.A. the Legend to repeated, and severe sexual coercion, manipulation, and humiliation, which further deepened the defendant's control over the plaintiff's anatomy, physical safety and labor. Throughout the plaintiff's 16-year period working closely with Fat Joe, T.A. was routinely coerced into engaging in sexual acts with women, specifically brought by Fat Joe to hotel rooms and private gatherings following performances and studio events. Fat Joe frequently arranged and orchestrated these encounters, intentionally creating scenarios designed to reinforce TA to complete submission. They sound like freak-offs. Defendant Cartagena regularly monitored these encounters closely, frequently remaining in the room to watch, record, or provide explicit direction and commands. This is very Diddy-ish. This is very Diddy-ish. The plaintiff did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, the plaintiff submitted solely out of fear of an immediate retaliation, which the defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. On at least one occasion, the plaintiff explicitly resisted participating in a coerced sexual encounter arranged by Fat Joe. Fat Joe immediately retaliated by canceling TA's scheduled flight home, deliberately stranding the plaintiff without money, shelter, or support, thereby intentionally placing him in an isolated, unsafe, and highly vulnerable position abroad. These calculated and repeated acts of sexual coercion served as a clear purpose in the defendant's enterprise, reinforcing that the plaintiff's ongoing subordination, obedience, and silence through humiliation, fear, and psychological domination. Sexual compliance became a condition of the plaintiff's continued employment. Ms. Didius. Access to essential resources, safe travel, and basic human dignity. Fat Joe used cohesive sex acts underpinned by the threat of job loss, abandonment, or physical harm. Meets the definition of sex trafficking by coercion under 18 U.S.C. 1591. Sexual acts were induced not by choice but fear, dependency, and fraud. Each counter carried an unspoken message: refuse and you lose everything. The plaintiff estimates that over 16 years, he was coerced into more than 4,000. Well, it's goddamn 16 years. 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing with the empire. I mean, with the enterprise. 4,000? $4,000. $4,000? Yo, Cuban, get out of here, nigga. Cuban, you started this. Getting on the internet talking about, let me stop playing. I ain't going to play with you like you playing with me. You stupid. The defendant used these acts as not merely for gratification, but as a control mechanism by degrading the plaintiff repeatedly and in front of others. He undermined the plaintiff's anatomy, silenced his resistance, and made him emotionally and physically depend on Fat Joe's approval. The psychological toll was immense. The plaintiff developed symptoms symptoms consistent with PTSD, including flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, panic attacks, and emotional detachment. He remains in trauma and he remains in trauma-informed therapy and continues to experience deliberating anxiety. These experiences were not private or confidential. Enterprise members, including JB, Raul, Pistol Pete, and security staff, routinely witnessed and participated in these coercive dynamics. Aqua Blue, what up? He sound like Trizzers. That's what they call them, right? Trizzers. Rock Nation, which assumed managerial control over Fat Joe's business operations in 2017, had ample opportunity to detect, disrupt, or report these patterns of abuse. Instead, it enabled and benefited from earning a commission, royalties, and reputational capital off the back of the plaintiff's silence. The forced sexual conduct described in this section, coupled with the economic manipulation and verbal threats, forms a textbook example of sex trafficking under federal law, warranting treble damages, injunctive relief, and criminal referral under 18 USC 1591 and 1595. Forced exhibition and enterprise sexual culture. Defendant's coercive control over the plaintiff was not limited to financial manipulation and abandonment. He would hold on. What page is that? 21. Hey, Cuban, they got your picture here. Hey, Cuban, you made the papers, bye. As previously stated, the Fat Joe frequently told TA that no one exits Terror Squad in one piece, a chilling phrase meant to reinforce the consequences of disloyalty or challenging his authority. The defendant repeatedly referenced what happened to former Terror Squad artist Cuban Link, who was physically assaulted and slashed across his face, leaving him with a permanent nerve damage and visible scarring. They showed Cuban before he got slashed, and then they show him after the slashing. This reference was not abstract. Fat Joe pointedly reminded TA of the physical consequences that could accompany disobedience or separation. These statements were made in the moments of a dispute or tension, particularly when TA raised issues of compensation. The message was clear. If you cross me, you'll end up like him, meaning Cuban. These threats in context served to reinforce a climate of fair submission and dependency, depriving TA of his agency and reinforcing Fat Joe's psychological dominance. These tactics were tactics that directly support TA's claim for forced labor under the TVPA and establish a factual basis for emotional distress and trauma. Forced sexual acts under duress and surveillance. Beyond coerced sexual acts, Fat Joe forced TA into repeated acts of public exhibitionism designed to degrade and exert control under the guise of loyalty tests and group bonding rituals. Defendant Fat Joe routinely orchestrated sexual coercive scenarios in which the plaintiff was compelled to engage in sexual acts with women brought to the hotel rooms following live performances, tour events, or private studio sessions. These incidents were carefully arranged by the defendant and occurred in environments fully controlled by him. In many instances, Fat Joe remained present during these encounters, watching, recording, or issuing verbal commands and commentary. This nigga sound like he been hanging with Diddy too long. On one occasion in Miami after a concert, Fat Joe brought a woman back to his hotel suite. He then ordered TA to sleep with her in front of him in the group, insisting that the bathroom door stay open and shouted, "Get your dick hard, TA." I'm sorry to laugh. This ain't funny. I don't mean to laugh. This is not funny. But can you imagine one of your homies? Yeah, pause. Can you imagine one of your homies? Yo, nigga, get your dick up. Like, what? I'm out of there. Members of the enterprise, including JB and Pistol Pete, stood in the room, watched, and laughing. Please forgive me for laughing. This is not funny. This is not funny. Members of the enterprise, including JB and Pistol Pete, stood in the room watching and laughing, with one individual remarking, "Yo, Joe, I'm not about to stand here and watch this nigga dick." Yeah. Oh. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God. Yo, Joe, I'm not going to stay here and watch this nigga ding ding. TA did not participate willingly. His compliance was very driven by the credible and persistent threat of retaliation, including the loss of income, removal from the tour, or public humiliation. When TA attempted to resist or assert boundaries, Fat Joe swiftly retaliated. TA's pay was withheld, his travel plans were abruptly canceled, or he was threatened with abandonment in foreign countries without access to money, shelter, or safe passage home. The tactics were designed to instill fear and enforce the defendant to control over the plaintiff's body and behavior. Roc Nation, which assumed management of Fat Joe's affairs in 2017, either knew or should have known of these repeated high-profile incidents. The events took place at branded venues, involved staff under Roc Nation supervision, and were discussed openly in touring circles. Roc Nation probably could get out of this. Like, how the hell will we know what y'all niggas is doing in closed doors? Despite this, Roc Nation took no disciplinary action, performed no internal audits, and continued to collect commission, royalties, and brand equity on Fat Joe's behalf, blah, blah, blah. We went through that already. We went through that. I'm not, like, a lot of this stuff is repetitive, so I'm not going to read everything. Then we got defendant's pattern and practice of trafficking-like conduct. Enterprise use of violent and threatening coded language. A key element of Fat Joe's enterprise operations was the strategic use of coded language to communicate threats, issue directives, and conceal violent and cohesive acts. This language was intentionally crafted to mask the true nature of the enterprise communications from outsiders, law enforcement, and industry professionals. Defendant Fat Joe and his senior associates regularly use phrases and terms that function as internal codes to direct violence, sexual coercion, intimidation, and other illicit conduct. This includes the darn, So Fat Joe's nickname is the Dern or the Don. Bonachos are targeting females, also known as bitches. Payops, coerced or violent sexual acts. Calpy, the physical assault or slap. Cooling, rectum or anus. Ketchup, stabbing or slashing. Matondun, kill him or him. Matonden, Matonden. Matondon, I don't know if that's Spanish or not, but that's kill him or kill them or him. Theory, baby mother, wife, or girlfriend. And corping, to a place a victim in a to put corping them. Corping. Maybe it's Spanish coffin. Corping is to place a victim in a casket. Yo, let me tell you something, bro. If the feds get on this case right here, right? And these niggas is using these code words in their phones and text messages on phone conversations, and somebody got killed or hurt or whatever, and he just gave them all their code words, yo. He just gave them all their code words, bro. If the feds start going through these niggas' phones, oh my God. And if they did any, these terms were used in text messages. Oh God. These terms were used in text messages, in persons conversations, studio banter, and back channel communications to direct enforcers, silence discerners, and coordinate enterprise activities across geographic locations. The coded language was essential to maintaining the instructions secrecy while allowing the most extreme forms of coercion and violence to be ordered and excluded without exposing the enterprise to immediate scrutiny. Yo, they better hope and pray they can either reconcile this before this shit turn to Diddy. Like, this is worse than Diddy, bro. This is worse than Diddy. If these niggas got bodies or got niggas jump and they be up here telling all these terror squad stories and how they was the illest niggas and they had niggas scared, and you got niggas like fucking Tony Yayo and them niggas on Vlad talking about Fat Joe and them niggas, they was real. Them niggas, Fat Joe and them niggas had me trapped in the they gonna go pull these interviews. Like the Tony Yayo interview talking about Fat Joe and them and Pistol P talking about how they was gonna run down on Tony Yayo and they had them trapped. Nigga, this is all gonna turn criminal. And Tony Yayo already admitted to the shit. Pistol Pete already told the story. Like, oh my God, bro. This is worse than Diddy, bro. This is worse than Diddy, bro. Like, if this was if I was reading Cassie's lawsuit right now, and then we seen what happened to Diddy after Cassie's lawsuit dropped, this is 10 times worse. More than 10 times worse, bro. This is 10 times worse, bro. I wouldn't even play with this nigga. I would not have played with this dude. Like, Fat Joe whole life is getting ready to change, bro. His whole life is getting ready to change, yo. If Diddy life, if Diddy life is what it is now, this is 10 times worse, nigga. The defendants, this eternal lexicon not only reflects the deliberate concealment of criminal activity, but the further establishes the organized hierarchy. What is this? Hierarchical? What is this word? Hold on. Hierarchical, which means the nature of hierarchy, arranged in order of rank. This internal lexicon not only reflects the deliberate concealment of criminal activity, but further establishes the organized, hierarchical, and methodical nature of the enterprise's operation. The defendant's penance for exploitation was not limited to artists and collaborators. Throughout his time working with the defendant, TA personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relationship with children who were 15 and 16 years old. Fat Joe, this is worse, bro. This is worse. Oh, this nigga, he better get his affairs in order, yo. I don't know how Jada he gonna handle this on the next show. I wonder if they're gonna talk about this on their next show. Minor Doe 1 is a 16-year-old Dominican girl residing in New York. In exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill. Sound like Jane Doe. Defendant would get oral sex and other sexual acts performed on him by Minor Doe 1. On occasion, while driving in New York City, Minor Doe 1 asked the defendant, Fat Joe, for money to pay her cell phone bill. Being notoriously cheap, Fat Joe claimed to be broke. This upset Minor Doe 1, who began yelling, cursing, and screaming. TA begged Fat Joe to pay the minor's child phone bill, which was less than $100. Minor Doe 2. He's trying to Kelly this nigga. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female. She is not a United States citizen. Fat Joe began to have sexual relationships with Minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Fat Joe flew Minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Minor Doe 2 body being an adolescent and not fully formed, Fat Joe paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. No, he didn't. No, bro. No, yo, bro. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. What? I would say that's hard to believe if I didn't interview this dude myself, right? But it's still hard to believe. But I seen a girl 16, 17 years old go get her get implants. So there are minors that do get cosmetic surgery. Are minors, are girls under 18 getting butt lifts? Is that a thing? I was mad my daughter got a goddamn tattoo at 15. I was pissed at her mother for that shit. Can you imagine a 15-year-old getting a butt lift? Wow. Minor Doe 2 eventually left the defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. Oh. This nigga got receipts, y'all. Here she go. This nigga got pictures of her. No. No. Minor Doe 3 with her friends from high school, the same time she was being trafficked by the defendant. Minor Doe 3 is a Latino female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. According to the plaintiff, the defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife for her. Fat Joe paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks away from his house with his wife. In recorded conversations, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin describe in detail how inappropriate it was for Fat Joe, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. This nigga got the phone call recorded. This is no good. This is no bueno. No bueno, papi. This is no bueno. The defendant sees no shame in his depravity towards children. The defendant, Fat Joe, has demonstrated a disturbing lack of remorse or discretion regarding his predatory behavior. Rather than conceal his actions, he has on multiple occasions alluded to or openly referenced sexually inappropriate conduct in his public persona and artistic output. I'm reading ahead. It's his public persona and artistic output. In the song titled She My Mama, Defendant delivers lyrics that, when considered in context, reflect on the unhealthy and troubling fixation on underage individuals. The content of the song is explicit, suggestive, and disturbingly detailed, and Fat Joe uses it to normalize, romanticize, or even boast about behavior that aligns with the patterns of coercion and exploitation described throughout this complaint. TA asserts that these lyrical references are not fictionalized or abstract, but from part of a large pattern in which the defendant, Fat Joe, uses his platform and music to project, excuse, and reinforce the abuse of power and boundary violations that have marked his conduct toward TA and others under his influence. In the relevant part of the song, Fat Joe says, "Now she was only 16. I had to nurture that, give her some growth, waited until I touched the cat. Told her she gonna have to work if she want to get it. Told her she gonna have to work if she gonna get ahead. Then she drove me berserk when she gave me some head. She told me she learned that from the porno flicks. I said, Mama, stop talking and just suck on the D stick. I ain't say her name yet, so let's say she's nothing. Now watch me turn this nothing into something. Get it? Mommy, get in that kitchen. This is free base. Just cook it till it's hard. Then cut into eighths. Take the trip across town to see True. Just get the money. Don't listen. That nigga think he cute. See all this money we got? We gonna go shopping. Louis Vuitton and Gucci. We got it popping. We hit the club on some Clico shit. See the respect that we get from just being my bitch? Look, see them sick? Yeah, they sick. They want to be in your shoes. That's the game that I hit her with, to leave her confused. I'm just using her for paper. She want a man. I'm about to see my other bitch, but she understands. Oh, this nigga is foolish, bro. Based on the information and belief, She's My Mama was written about minor number 3, minor Doe 3, who confirms engaging in many of the acts outlined in the lyrics above. Just so y'all know, I ain't making it up. I'm going to show y'all. I guess it's on this album right here, Me, Myself, and I. There go the lyrics right there. Now, she was only 16. I had to nurture that. Gave her some growth. Waited till I touched the cat. Told her she have to work. And she gonna get ahead. And she drove me berserk when she gave me some head. She told me that she learned that from the porno flicks. I said, Mommy, stop talking, just suck on this. I ain't say her name yet, so let's say she's nothing. Now watch me turn this nothing into something. Get it? Mommy, get in that kitchen. This is free base. Just cook it until it's hard and cut it into eighths. Take the trip cross town to see True. Just get the money. Don't listen. That nigga think he cute. See all this money we got, we gonna go shopping. Louis Vuitton and Gucci. We get it popping. We hit the club on some Clico shit. She see the respect that you get from just being my bitch. Look, see them sick? They want to be in your shoes. That's the game I hit her with. To leave her confused. I'm just using her for paper. She want a man. I'm about to see my other BI. But she understands. Wow, wow, wow. Based on information and belief, She's My Mama was written by Minor Doe 3, who confirms engaging in many of the acts outlined in the lyrics above. Furthermore, Minor Doe 3 was required to hold jewelry, drugs, and other questionable items that are legal to be in the child's possession when she traveled with the defendant. Defendant's transportation of and sexual intercourse with the minors constitute violations of the following New York State, Florida, and federal laws. New York sex trafficking and defined in paragraphs A, B, New York, Florida, and the Federal Mann Act. And Section 2423 as amended in the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. Defendants Joe covers up Andre Christopher Lyon from Cool and Dre's statutory rape of K. Rose. K. Rose was a 15-year-old singer signed to Epidemic Records, a label owned by Andre Dre Christopher Lyon. From the beginning of the relationship, Dre began grooming K. Rose and started having sexual encounters with the child in the studio after her parents dropped her off to record. The statutory rape of K. Rose lasted for close to a year. According to the plaintiff, one night, he and the defendant walked into the studio and Dre was screaming, "I'm going to jail, Joe. I'm going to jail." Then K. Rose's parents found out I was dealing with K. Rose. Oh, they found out I was dealing with K. Rose, meaning her parents. That's what Dre is saying to Joe. According to TA, K. Rose's parents threatened to lock Dre up. Fat Joe kept saying, "Calm down. I'm going to take care of it." Based on information and belief, Fat Joe used his burner phone to send K. Rose's parents a message. K. Rose's career fizzled out and she was rarely heard from again. Coordinated retaliation attempts by the Enterprise members, Pistol Pete and Rich Player. If I'm them niggas, I'm getting away from Fat Joe ass right now. Yo, Pa, we got to separate for a minute, Pa. You know, we got to chill out, Pa. The boy bringing down the fuma. He bringing the fuma on us, Papa. Following the plaintiff's efforts to disclose the coercive, fraudulent, and abusive operations, defendant Cartagena and the criminal enterprise he leads, senior members of the Cartagena enterprise launched a calculated and premeditated campaign of retaliation designed to intimidate, isolate, and silence the plaintiff. Their actions were driven by fear that the plaintiff's disclosure would expose them to legal liability, public condemnation, and criminal prosecution. This retaliation was not limited to verbal threats or reputational smears. It was deliberately operational through the direct and coordinated outreach to a mutual associate named Percy, an individual who at the time remained loosely affiliated with the enterprise and maintained regular contact with the plaintiff. Then the defendants, Pistol Pete and Rich Player, two of the defendant Cartagena's most trusted enforcers, contacted Percy with the explicit goal of leveraging his relationship with the plaintiff to facilitate a violent setup. Defendant's agents saw Percy as a potential conduit to lure the plaintiff into a confrontation under false pretenses. The objective of the setup was clear: to deliver a violent reprisal, either a brutal physical assault or potential execution. The motive was equally clear: to punish the plaintiff for speaking out and to deter any further retaliations. Deter any further revelations that could damage Fat Joe or implicate the enterprise in criminal wrongdoing. In the recorded conversation, defendant Torres, I guess that's Pistol Pete, explicitly invoked loyalty to Fat Joe, characterizing the plaintiff's truth-telling as an unforgivable betrayal. Pistol Pete stated equivalently that TA needs to get dealt with and urged Percy to arrange an in-person meeting under false pretenses. The planned violence was framed as not a personal dispute, but as a necessary act of eternal discipline and enterprise protection. Oh, they gave the people the recordings, bro. Y'all can see it for yourself. I called you to try to get his number. Percy says, all right. And I called him and he did not want you to have his number because he said, you ain't been calling him. And what you calling him for? Pistol P says, no, that's fine. He right. As long as he keep himself away. As he don't come around the hood because he can't come around the hood. It's all good. My loyalty's to Joe. My thing is, if he violated Joe and you fuck with Joe, I would expect and think that Percy loyalty is to Joe. According to Joe, Percy says, my loyalty don't go to be questioned here. Never. Not one time. You went on the internet and you violated Joe. Nobody pounded you out. What are you talking about? Pistol P says, nobody ever violated Joe. What are you talking about? Percy says, yes, you did. You went on the internet and you violated Joe. You violated Khaled. You forgot? Or did you forget? Pistol P said, Khaled, yes. But I never violated Joe. Percy said, man, you violated Joe too, bro. You violated Joe too. Pistol P said, it was Khaled that I was talking about, or that I talked about. Percy said, don't do that. Pistol P said, it was Khaled. I can do whatever I want, Percy said, no. I'm telling you, you could do that with them, bro. But don't talk ish like that. Pistol P says, no, I'm just telling you because I'm expecting your loyalty to be toward, I guess, us. Percy said, my loyalty is not in question here, bro. Pistol P says, Purse, listen, I'm only talking to you, Purse, because Joe was like, yo, nah, that's crazy. Percy loyalty is to me. Now, give him a call. I'm just telling you because I respect. This is what I'm saying. As a fan base, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you, you do this, do that. What? You do this, you do that. You know what I'm saying. Percy says, yes, but you're trying to tell me to line this nigga up. That don't even make sense. I don't know who you thought in your mind that I was going to do that. Pistol P say, no, I'm just saying though, listen, if a nigga violate anybody, that my niggas is going to bring it right to where you at. I ain't going to lie. My niggas ain't going to bring them right to me. My hood is going to be right over there. Why? Like they've always done. Why? A nigga get dealt with accordingly. These niggas getting ready to go to jail, bro. These niggas is getting ready to get indicted. All that other shit, this shit is a phone call, a recorded call, and they got these niggas on audio threatening. These niggas getting ready to catch a case. I'm telling you, mark my words. These niggas is getting ready to catch a case. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Percy said yes. And if it was somebody other than TA, yeah. Pistol P say, I guess you can't really hear what they're saying, but going to kill. Percy says, listen to me. If it was somebody other than TA, yes. But TA was a part of the family, bro. That nigga's not. And he's going through what he's going through. And maybe he shouldn't just the way that he did it. But I told him, hold on. You got to listen to me. I told him, hold on. Pistol P said, I put the nigga on. He never gave me $1. I let him fly. Percy said, he didn't have $1 to give you. What are you talking about? Pistol P said, no, he had plenty, bro. He was getting paid thousands of dollars when he went overseas, bro. He lying. He wasn't getting paid no money when Pistol P cuts him off. Yes, he was, bro. Yes, he was. Percy said, man, you wasn't even around. I was around. You wasn't around, Pete. Pistol P said, Purse, I know, Purse. Purse said, you wasn't around, Pete. I wasn't around. You wasn't around. Remember, you wasn't around. You wasn't here. You was in Miami, bro. So don't do that. Listen, when I'm asking about my money, trust me, a lot of ish came up. Oh, no? We giving that nigga this amount of money. And I used to talk to TA. TA says, God, right now, they just gave you this amount of money. He said, yes, but I had to pay this and I had to pay that. I couldn't do it. I'm only getting paid $1,000. It's hard because I have to pay my rent. How could I give you 20%? Damn, please, Jeff, give me a break. I was like, all right, TA, I understand that you need it. He was getting paid more than what he said to you all. Purse, he is lying. He told me. There's a lot of lying going on around here, bro. That's why I stay out of that ish. That's why I stay out of everybody's business. But right is right. He feeling how he feeling. Mr. P says, yeah, but he's wrong. He's not right. He's wrong. Instagram, come over to my YouTube. My phone is about to die. Sorry, y'all. But go on my stories. Just hit the link where it say I'm live. All right? Peace. Is he wrong for doing how he's doing it? How he's doing it? I don't know if he's wrong because he did holler at Joe. Joe curved him. Joe ain't want to hear nothing. He was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Then now this is his option. This is how he feel he needs to handle it. Is he right for doing it that way? I don't totally agree with him. I tried to stop him. He wanted to do it this way. He wanted to do it his way. I can't do nothing about that. Don't ever tell me, bring a nigga to you. I'm not never doing that. I'm not never doing that. Mr. P say, no, I'm just saying no. Listen, I know, I will. If a nigga violate Percy and he around me, what? My nigga, you violating who? Oh, no. Get in the car, bro. You going to deal with Percy right now, buddy. Yes, but I don't give a F, nigga. I'm a real nigga from the trenches, for real. I'm not going to let him violate my nigga. Oh, this nigga's in trouble, bro. He's in trouble, bro. Y'all know how this go. Homeland Security is swooping in on these niggas before this show is over. We seen this before. R. Kelly, we seen it with Diddy Cassie lawsuit. This is worse, yo. This is worse. And these niggas be on the internet talking about all the time. The niggas, they did shit. The niggas, oh my God. Oh my God. Wait till they grab these niggas' phones. Oh my God. Like, if they, oh my God. If they doing this to a nigga that ran with them, imagine a nigga that didn't run with them. They in big trouble, bro. If this civil suit ain't nothing, boy, You better believe a criminal case is coming down the pipeline. This is no bueno. I don't give a F, nigga. I'm a real nigga from the trenches, for real. I'm not going to let him violate my nigga. Percy says he only think he said he want his money for his music that he wrote. I didn't see him say nothing about Joe pay off his blank and all of that. How do you know, Pete? You wasn't there. You know what? I mean, you know how a nigga be in the studio, person. I guess Percy. Oh, you know how nigga be in the studio. I guess that supposed to be Percy. Because I have done it. I've been in the studio where I had give a nigga a line or two. Yo, say this. This is the nice line right here. Person, Pete, you wasn't there, Pete. You wasn't there, so you can't talk on what you don't know. Pistol P says, a lot of us wasn't there. Percy said, I was there. What? You was there for what? The one step? The crosstalk? Nigga, I was there every time. Pistol P says, not for that one. I was there all the time for the song, bro. Percy says, Pete, no, you wasn't, bro. You wasn't there. None of y'all was around. Technically, none of y'all was around. Pistol P said, yo, Percy, but he never wrote the song. Percy says, if you want to be technical, none of y'all was around if you want to be technical. Pistol P say, you might be right. I'm not trying to. Percy says, the only people that was around was me, TA, Joe, and March. Nobody else was around, bro, for years. Okay, I got you. It must have been at that time then, I guess. For years, nobody, for years. So nobody, whatever you being told or whatever, nobody cares because I know what's going on. Pistol P say, listen, I've been in the studio 1,000 times with TA and with Joe, and TA never wrote a song. Now, if a nigga say a sick shit, a verse where it might be, say, cocaine, and it matches with it already was done. Yes, that's understandable. Pistol P, that's a different story. That's not writing the whole song. You know what I'm saying? Percy, I was there for a lot of ish, bro. I just don't say nothing because I don't want to get involved in none of this ish. Pistol P say, no, I got you, Purse. I get it, though. I get it. Listen, like I said, I only reached out to you because the way they said it, I said, well, that should be easy. If he around Purse all the time and Purse is down with us, then it's a no-brainer. And Percy says, yes, but I'm never going to do that. I will bring him for a conversation, but I don't bring him. I'm not ever doing that. I will bring him for a conversation, but I will never bring him for niggas to try to pound him out. I'm never doing that. If niggas want to catch him and pound him out, they got to do it on their own. I'm never going to line him up like that. I got you, Purse. I got you. No, I got you. Listen, that says something that, yo, my loyalty can't be questioned. Pistol P says, yo, that's something between you and Joe. That ain't got nothing to do with me and you. Percy, don't ever question my loyalty, brother. Please. Pistol P said, no, my thing to you is that this ish ain't going on, ain't nothing going on to do with. At the end of the day, that got to do with you and Joe. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't worried about that as far as how loyal and this and that and the other. I don't care about that. I just thought it was going to be easy. I was like, yo, so they telling me about it. I'm like, oh, that should be no problem. Give me Purse number. Let me find Purse and tell him to bring TA. What the fuck are we going to do? I don't know. He violated. He got to get handled accordingly. Nobody is going to stab him up. Purse says, my nigga. Nobody is pounding out this nigga yet. Cuban Links yet, bro? He's over there at Castle Hill all day. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Don't tell me nothing, Purse. Don't tell me nothing about Purse. Pistol P said, yo, Purse, you can't help that guy. Percy says, I don't care. Nobody went over there to pound him out, though. He's still right there on the internet talking shit. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Why? Pistol B said, he can't count that guy. Percy, it doesn't matter. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Them niggas scheming on goddamn Cuban Link. Still. These niggas about to catch a serious charge. They are, I'm telling you, boy, this is not good, bro. This is not good. Yo, do you understand what this conversation is right here? Oh my God. Fat Joe in big trouble, bro. He shouldn't have never filed that lawsuit against this nigga. This nigga know where the bodies is buried. Yo, them niggas all better get ready. Fat Joe, he better have money for all these niggas. Pistol Pete, Rich to Play, he better have money for these niggas. If they ain't got their own money, it's about to come down on these niggas like a ton of bricks. This nigga Cuban could go and if Cuban's different, he ain't gonna go file no charges. But him seeing this right here, Cuban, if the feds could go to Cuban right now and say, you gonna testify? It doesn't matter. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Pistol B say, listen, I don't see him. I'm in the street. I'm in every club. I'm in, say something in Spanish. Percy said, bro, that bitch ain't coming outside. He not coming outside. Pistol B said, I'm just saying though, I'm every fucking, I guess, I'm in every fucking, everybody. I don't get it. I'm over here with these niggas on that block. I'm over here in Fox with these niggas. I'm in everybody's hood. I'm effing day. I'm out here. Every effing day I'm out here. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. And I don't see that nigga. I'm just telling you, he is a different flow for a nigga to come out. You know what? Sometimes it bothers you when it's a nigga that you put on, and you know I'm a certain story. I like I put TA on. TA was a nobody from my hood. He's a little nigga from my hood. Person says, yes, you did. You brought TA around. Yes. Pistol P say, he a little nigga from my hood, and every nigga in my hood want to pound him out. TA is a little nigga in the hood. He ain't nobody. So I'm saying I put him on because his uncle was my son. He wasn't even my man. He was my son too. And he knows that. Percy, no. Whatever it is, I'm just saying that all that's cool. You picked him up, you brought him around, you dropped him off, you left. So you don't know what's been going on after you left, Pete. You don't know what's been happening. Pistol P says, I just know it's not the way to go. He's on a computer and whatever, there's a whole of shit that's not cool. Percy says, nobody said nothing when Tony Sunshine was running around with Cuban links doing the same effing thing, bro. Y'all niggas, yo, I don't know, man. You niggas got selective memory. Pistol Pete, nah, it ain't selective though. Percy, it is selective, bro. It's selective. Pistol Pete say, you know what's going on though on Purse? The people was about the way like the ops shit. You know what niggas worrying about? Niggas ain't worried about no niggas. Just sweating everything. Niggas ain't even worried about him saying about writing and all that. Joe is not even pressed about that. Percy, when did he say that though? Is this new? Pistol Pete, he had told the dog. Yes, bro, I'm going to tell you the truth, bro. Percy, oh no. I know when they spoke about 6 months ago. 7 longer than, I know they spoke last year sometime. Him and Joe was on the phone. And Joe had told, because I wasn't listening to their conversation, but Joe said something about he was going to talk about the pay ops and all that. But I know that. Mr. Pete, that's it. Percy, he ain't saying nothing on the internet right now about that. Mr. Pete, no, he didn't. But this is the reason that the darn is going crazy because of that. We know that's Fat Joe. He just told us his code name. Not because it was the writing-ish and all that. He don't be care because that's not easy to prove. Oh, God. Well, you just told him it's... Percy. All right. But he's not doing that, though. I don't even think that's what he's going to do. But I know niggas is fake trying to get points with Joe, trying to be like, yo, I'm going to get at him. And nobody is going to touch TA, bro. Pistol P say, listen, let me tell you something. If I build a nigga and the nigga act up, I feel like he never got robbed because he was doing great more than he was doing when I met him. When he was in the hood doing shit, a bum, I took him off of that ish and put him around Joe. He came, he decided he wanted to be a hype man. He decided he wanted to be a rapper. He decided he didn't want to be a rapper no more. He wants to be a hype man. I told him, whoa, stay firm. You an artist, chill. Stay firm with the artist. Don't go into the hype man ish. He got caught up with that whole hype man ish. He wanted to be on the road. He effed up the light and ish like that. He said, F all that ish. I'll do this. I was like, okay, then that's what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? It was something that he decided that he wanted to do. I never told TA, never told that nigga to go and become effing Joe's hype man. I told him, don't do that, man. Just stay firm and keep it the way it is. Joe's going to make you his artist. That's it. You're going to come out with music. But all that hype man ish, all that, he was like, nah, I want to go on the road. I don't see why he couldn't do both. Him being the hype man would just gave him more exposure as an artist. Niggas would have knew who he was when he dropped his records. I don't see nothing. That wasn't a bad move. And that's what he did. I couldn't hold his hand. I was like, yes, all right then. On top of all that, on top of that, I never seen $1 out of all the money that he got. All the bread he had come back out of the plane fresh, out of the joy with stupid bread. Yo, yeah, yo, yes, I got to pay this. I just got a baby. It was always something new. And Percy says, no, I understand that because that's how it was for him. He was always having an excuse. He always had something to do with, you right. Pistol P said, yes. And he was always stupid. And I'm legit. I'm like a cologne. Percy says, let's ask you this though, Pete. Why are you now talking about, yo, he never gave me no change or nothing or charge? You ain't seen or spoke to this nigga in years? Pistol P says, I spoke to him about it. I talked to him. He knows. I'm just telling you, I'm vibing with you that I never bothered him. I never even gave a F about that issue. Because I wanted him to do okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, if I bring a nigga around, and it's just like when you bring somebody around the mafia, he goes bad, and it was your shit, you get bust open until you get bust open until you get cut. It's just like you being down with the gang and the nigga that you bought. Percy says, no, I understand that. I understand. Pistol P says, I hope I don't have to break down on you. But you never. Percy says, no, I understand that. Of course. Pistol P says, my thing to you is he's super violating, bro. He can't do that, bro. What did he say to violate? He just saying what? Pistol P said, just going on the internet doing that, bro. Just going on the internet violating, doing that way. Percy says, then, bro, you got to be pounded out too then. That's it. You got to get pounded out too. Now you joking, bro, says Pistol Pete. Percy, no, I'm not joking. I'm dead ass. If Joe would have felt like, because he went on the internet and he said, yo, I need my money for my music that I wrote, then you got to be pounded out too. Because, sidebar, Pistol Pete was going at Fat Joe for a minute. I guess they made up. But I do remember a time when Pistol Pete was talking about Joe too. I guess they friends again, right? Pistol Pete said he never wrote no music. He lying. Percy said, you went on the internet, right? Pistol Pete says, well, he's lying. Percy, how do you know, Pete? How do you know? Pistol Pete, come on. Because I know, bro. Percy, Pete, you wasn't there, my nigga. Joe, but I was around. before you came around. Percy says, Pete, you was not there. But you know you was not there though, Pete. You was not there. Bro, stop. You was not there. No, stop. You was there? Mr. P say, but you was there? Percy says, I was there for everything. Mr. P says, you witnessed that he wrote shit for Joe? Percy, what I'm saying to you is that I'm not getting into all of that. I'm telling you that I was there for everything. I was there for everything. Mr. P says, you was there for a lot of things. Percy says, I was there for all these same niggas. You, Rich, when all you niggas was scared to go to Africa because everybody was scared. Everybody was scared of fucking whoever. Mr. P said, I didn't go. You ain't talking about me. Bro, I'm talking about everybody, says Percy. Pistol P, I'm the only nigga down on all of that. I'm the only nigga that Tony Yayo was getting out to this day. I'm the only nigga that Tony Yayo was getting that to this day, getting out to this day. Percy says, man, Tony Yayo's a fed. I don't know what he's talking about. Didn't I tell y'all? Now Yayo's on flag. So now when the feds is looking at this, they bringing Tony Yayo name up. Didn't I tell 50? 50, get the nigga Yayo off of Vlad. The shit is gonna come back to haunt y'all. Here you go. Here you go. Now, Yayo, they talking about you a fed. Told your ass stay off of Vlad, nigga. Watch what happens when the feds go and grab up Yayo to talk to him. Watch. Watch what I tell you. Yo, let this be a lesson to all you niggas if you ain't watched the Young Thug trial. That when y'all niggas think y'all could threaten niggas and send niggas to do shit to niggas over little internet bullshit, niggas, y'all niggas is setting yourself up for the RICO. Now, this shit right here, I guarantee you this ain't going to end in no civil lawsuit. Fat Joe was better off giving this nigga some fucking money and letting that shit go. I bet you these niggas ain't even know that this phone call was recorded and now the motherfucking FBI got it. And it is so incriminating. It is so incriminating. Oh my God. Them niggas is getting, they got a fucking problem, bro. They got a big problem. Man, Tony Yayo's a fed. I don't know what he is talking about. Pistol Pete, yes, because it was real. I did chase them niggas down. Oh my God. These niggas is in trouble, bro. Oh, holy shit. No, Pistol P did not think this phone call was recorded. Now the feds got y'all. For the RICO, if the feds pick this up, they got these niggas already. Yes, because it was real. I did chase them niggas down. Now, is he saying niggas or niggers? It was me by myself. I ain't see nobody else. I don't know. Percy says, I don't know when that was because I was there for every situation. Pistol Pete, I was there for real. Keep telling on yourself. Oh, nigga, what are you going to tell the police? What are you going to tell the police, bro? I wasn't there. That wasn't me. I was lying. Oh my God. And Yayo helped these niggas by going off Vlad, giving a statement. Where's Vlad? Where Yayo gonna tell the police when they come in? Oh, I ain't talking. Oh, I ain't cooperating. Nigga, you will get 50 pulled into some whole other shit. These niggas, oh my God. Tony Yayo, I don't know when that was. Pistol P said, Tony Yayo was screaming outside because I did get into it with him and with them niggas. And them niggas did run from me at the jewelry shop. And I got off the jewelry, at the jewelry shop. I don't know what that means. Perch said, maybe they thought because at that time your name was ringing some bells. I don't remember none of that, bro. And I was there. P says, listen, you're not with me all the time. I got my own. Perch said, that's a fact. I got my own niggas. Me and my niggas. But trust me, Tony Yayo won't be screaming out no shit like that just from DP. Percy says, he's saying TS. But you was, at the time, nigga, you was as being the face of TS as far as the goons was concerned because niggas, blah, blah, blah. Pistol P says, we was beefing with them niggas. What are you talking about? We was beefing with them niggas. We came out with a song. We got it on and popping with them niggas. It was serious. It was hard with us too. Joe wasn't nowhere around. We was the ones on the street. We was the one that had to deal with niggas running into niggas at the club and the goon and all this and all that. Hey, Percy says, you ain't got to tell me. Pistol P says, shh, you kidding me? All this shit? Man, we was in the streets for real with this dumb shit. That's here nor there. I'm not worried about that. I'm only calling because honestly speaking, with good faith, it wasn't like I'm trying to make you feel some sort of way, Percy. You my bro. Percy, nah, I feel you. But for you to even tell me to line him up, that is disrespect to me, my nigga. I ain't that type of nigga, bro. Pistol P says, no. But listen, I just thought that I'm just saying, I'm just doing it because if I got a nigga that's violating Percy said, yo, Joe is my brother and my loyalty should never be in question. Anybody questioning my loyalty and anybody and my loyalty, that's their own issue, bro. Nothing but loyal. Pistol Pete, I understand that. And I'm going to deal with it or do with it. Percy says, this is what I'm saying. Y'all don't even need, if y'all want to try to get TA, go ahead. Joe got TA number. Rich got TA number. How none of them niggas got TA number? Now all of a sudden, niggas don't understand. But everybody says Percy. Mr. P say, nah, what happened was this. Niggas are saying no, but he be with Percy in the whip. Every time we ever seen him, he's always in the car with Percy. This is what happened, Percy. Who said that? Because niggas is lying. Because they lying. TA don't even be here. Mr. P said, listen to what I'm saying, bro. Percy, TA don't even be here, bro. That's a lie. Pistol P says, times they have seen TA, they only seen him with you. I'm not going to lie to you, Percy. That's the reason I said that's the case. You know, I don't talk to you all the time. I'm like, oh, that should be no problem there, Percy. Okay, then what? I even told Joe that. That's not my problem. Then just reach out to Percy and let's resolve this shit if he's around Percy. If he's around you, then it should be no problem. I'm telling myself, like, okay, well, Percy say, oh, yes? For another nigga? Oh, of course. It's not an issue. Let's go. Let's do it. Yo, come on, let's go. TA? I'm not doing that. These niggas is in trouble, bro. They in trouble. I know the feds is going all through their shit right now. They in trouble, bro. This one conversation right here establishes what they alleging in the lawsuit. They telling on themselves. And Percy's dead. Rest in peace. Nah, I got you. Listen, I understand what you're saying. Percy's, if y'all want to catch him, y'all catch him when y'all can. I'm not doing that. Pistol P say, no, I got you. Listen, it is what it is. I swear, I only called. I didn't call trying to make it seem like I'm over here. Yo, you, nah. I called you in a nice, humblest way, respectfully. My bad that you took it in a different way. But I'm thinking to myself, if he has somebody that we looking for and they're telling me because I don't know, I'm only going according to what they tell me, Purse. They telling me, oh, he's leaving with Purse. I'm like, okay, so let me just call Purse and tell Purse. Percy says, when you saying they, who's telling you this? Because I'm finna go after their ass. Pistol Pete, yes. But I'm not going to go back and forth with you. It's a TS. I guess a TS member for sure. Percy says, you can't tell me what they said, and you not telling me who they is, because they could be gassing you up. Pistol P says, why would they want to do that? I'm not trying to get to the bottom of this, so it won't escalate to nothing else. Percy says, to get into the bottom of it would be them niggas calling TA and having a conversation or having a three-way. Because the P say, look, I don't know. You should be talking to them. Not you. It's true, though. You right. That has nothing to do with you. You know what? The only reason I called you is because they said the last time we only seen him with Percy. So I'm thinking that okay, this is me. Nobody else ain't telling me ish. I'm thinking, okay, that means he's around Percy all the time. So Percy should know. There shouldn't be no problem finding TA because he don't come around my neighborhood. He's not around the block because I'm in the hood every day, mostly. Every day I'm in the hood. Percy said, TA don't even live here, bro. Huh? Says Pistol Pete. Percy, TA don't even live here, bro. Pistol Pete. Nah, no, I understand. My thing to you is, man, yo, Percy, listen, like I said, it wasn't like I was trying to make you feel bad or disrespect you, my brother. You fan base. I was just thinking the way it was, bro, to me, oh, it's a simple phone call, and it should be. I'm like, all right, let me call Percy. Let me call Percy and find out what Percy think. Percy, nah, I feel you on that. But then loyalty, bro. That's the part that was like, oh, whoa, what you mean? I'm too loyal. Because I got you. My thing is my thing to you is, Percy, all right, I'm going to call Joe and Rich myself right now. Pistol P said, yes, I think you should do that, man. So nah, man, nah, I'm going to call them right now. Pistol P says, yes, I think that's the best thing. All right, bro. All right, love, bro, peace. Oh, they got the Rich to play and they on the phone too. Woo! This is worse than Diddy. This is worse than Diddy, bro. These niggas is cooked. In the separate recording called Rich Player, the defendant's business manager and trusted handler reinforced the threat, stating that the situation had gone too far, that Joe's family was involved, and that Percy was in a position to help line this up. Oh my God. These niggas is going to jail, bro. These niggas is going to jail. Rich Player's tone was unmistakably serious. If Percy did not help, he was advised to get out the way. Whoa. Percy, but you want to take you, and maybe you want to tell me, like I said, when I told him, yo, TA went bad. He said, yo, Percy, everybody deserves a second chance. All right. Everybody deserves a second chance. You're right. But let's not pick and choose who we want to give second chances to, bro. Rich Player says, yes, I do. He just went super duper bad. Do you know what hurts me the most, bro? How him and TA, they were tighter than tight. They were tighter than me and Joe. And you and Joe. If that's the case, why didn't Joe just look out for the nigga? And now y'all trying to kill a nigga, allegedly? Percy said they were tighter than me and Joe. Rich Player said, I just said that. Yes. They was that's them together that's them together every day. Percy, yes, bro. Rich Player, it existed. That's betrayal. Got betrayal. Bitches bitching, bro. Percy, I get that part. I definitely get that part. Rich Player, this is different. It is different. That's why he's like, yo, I can't forget. We can't fix this. He went too far to fix this. My family's involved, bro. He said the niggas up old wounds with this. And he meant to say opened old wounds with this. And then he says, and then he's saying all these Galatians about Bianches, about old Bonches, I guess that's bitches, sticking shit in my coolant. I guess sticking things in his booty. He goes, yo, bro, what are you trying to do to me, bro? He's all effed. It's a real. He don't even talk about it with me, man. And I'm with the man every day. Percy, I try to understand all that. He, Rich the Player, all right. That one hurt. That one super duper hurt. He said the things is that he feels. He goes, yo, I know Percy since kindergarten. I know Percy longer than any nigga in my crew, Rich. Percy was to do as soon as he went super bad, then be like, yo, that's it. That nigga is dead. Oh, God. It's over, bro. It's over. It's over. It is over. It's over. I promise y'all. I promise y'all, it's over. Watch what I'm telling you. I'm not going to worry. I don't wish that on nobody. But Fat Joe just called himself a case. He just called himself a case. I got to talk away from everybody. I said, we already done Holly before in front of everybody. Oh, my God. Y'all niggas is men too. Who y'all? Oh, these niggas is, they done, bro. If I'm Rock Nation, I'm dropping this nigga tonight. You got to go. You got to go, nigga. You about to take our whole company down, nigga. You got to go. That's it. That nigga's dead. I got to talk away from everybody. I said, we already done Holly before in front of everybody. I said, no, we got to talk one-on-one. I said, no. I said, I can't. I said, this ish is going to eat me up alive. No, because there's a lot being said. Percy says, when I saw you over there, you was like, yo, you hurt me. I was like, no, Rich, that wasn't my intention. My intention wasn't to hurt you. My intentions was to tell you the real, bro. I know who was there when niggas were supposed to be. Yo, Rich, I got to take this call, bro. I'm going to call you in a little while, bro. All right, bro. All right. All right. This conversation establishes that members of the Cartagena enterprise acted in coordination and on behalf of the defendant, Fat Joe, conspired to commit physical assault or murder and solicited assistance in carrying out those acts. Defendant Cartagena failure to convey Percy to law plaintiff to a location to murder him frustrated defendant Cartagena and caused him to make matters into his own hands. While actively campaigning for former Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign, defendant made direct threats to plaintiff from his Instagram burner account, Biggs, whatever that means. Fat Joe slams Latino support. I got to stop right there. I got to stop right there. Whew, this is worse than a lawsuit, bro. This is worse than a lawsuit, bro. That nigga just opened the door for a federal RICO, attempted murder, all types of, oh my God, bro. If Cassie got Diddy, well, Gene there, we know Gene Squill. He opened the door. But this here, That phone conversation, and they got the actual audio. They can't deny none of this. They got the actual audio, bro. Sometimes you just gotta pay. When you know a nigga did that and the nigga back in the hood, and you sitting there calling the nigga couch surfer, and you embarrassing him, and he got a kid and a girl, and she done seen this nigga go on tour and all this stuff and come home with no money, and you calling the nigga couch surfer and all that, and then you trying to send niggas to do shit to him. What he supposed to do? Run up on you and blast you and go to jail? Nah, nigga. He did the right thing, because if he was white, it'd be and you can't say, oh, you ain't no street nigga. No. If this was a white boy, he would have been calling the police and got there himself. But Fat Joe, you rich. You rich. You can handle it. You rich, nigga. You keep bragging how rich you are and all this other stuff. Boy. If you like Cassie, nigga, I mean, Diddy, you going to settle with that nigga tonight to make this shit go away. Because if this don't go away, bro, you don't better do nothing. Don't take my advice. That was just advice. You do what you got to do. But what we saw with Cassie, with Diddy, you could have prevented all this. Boy. Oh my God. I'm telling you, if I was Fat Joe right now, I'll be biting my nails. That nigga, he probably done bit all his nails off. He probably got his foot in his mouth like, yo, bro, that nigga life will never be the same after today. I guarantee you, Homeland Security or the Southern District of New York, they can ready to file charges on Pistol Pete, Fat Joe, Rich the Player. I'm telling you, Rock Nation, you gonna wake up in the morning and you gonna see Rock Nation drop Fat Joe. If they don't, they ass is getting dragged into it. And they already got some shit going on over there with Desiree Perez. Yeah, happy Juneteenth to Fat Joe. You feel like you black? You ain't gonna never forget this day. You gonna always feel black on this day. So now, watch. The Fed's going to grab up Yayo. Watch. They going to talk to him. He can tell me, oh, now 50 paid for the lawyer. I ain't have to speak. Yeah, okay. He ain't got to say nothing. Because he already talked about it on Black. Yo, them terror squad niggas, those was the realest niggas we had beef with. Dumb niggas was real. You gonna tell the police you was lying? You gonna tell the police you was lying? You already testified on Vlad that them niggas, you had an altercation with them niggas. And them niggas was real. You already testified to that on Vlad. Oh, buddy. They got you, nigga. Niggas at the Talk of New York. Told your ass that Vlad shit was gonna come back and haunt you. Nigga, y'all 50 got too much money for you to be sitting on Vlad talking about street shit, nigga. This nigga giving you a job. Why do you gotta go get the crumbs off the floor, my nigga? I knew it. I knew this was gonna come back on Yayo. I knew it. Nigga, why are you fucking with the crumbs on the floor? 50 giving y'all niggas caviar, filet mignon, 5-star fried chicken. Nigga, a piece of macaroni fall on the floor. You want to go and pick it up and eat it and kiss it up to God. That's Vlad, nigga. You want to go and pick up the shit off the floor and kiss it off to God. It ain't that dirty. I'm going to eat it. Bro, Vlad, nigga. You don't need Vlad money, nigga. Whatever 50, the money 50 bringing in for you, you don't need those crumbs. And I bet you your dumb ass is going to go on Vlad and he going to pay you to come and talk about this. I bet you. Watch you see this dumb nigga be right on Vlad and Vlad going to ask him. So, you know, the guy TA, the legend, he filed the lawsuit and they mentioned it, you in there. So tell me about that. Tell me about that story when they chased you in the jewelry store again. Tell me about that. Can we watch? This thing gonna go right up there, picking the crumbs off the floor. Yeah, Vlad. Nigga done bit a candy bar. All the crumbs that fell off the candy bar, he picking them up. Nigga. Nigga, you just went on your stash is good, yayo. 50 just took y'all niggas on a world tour. The biggest, probably the top 3 tours in hip hop ever. You stacked some paper. Why did you go on Vlad for the crumbs, my nigga? Now you done made statements. Don't you know they going to your videos right now, bro? Shit. 50, didn't I tell you? Get Ye off of Vlad. Watch. Watch. I am Choke No Joke. You already know. The #1 documentary. Yes, it was #1. 50, I told you, 50. 50, I told you, 50. I told you, 50. I told you. Yayo would never went on Vlad. He would never gave those statements about Fat Joe. And he talked about Fat Joe several times on there. He talked about Fat Joe and them several times on Vlad, yo. All you got to watch this. Let me show you. How simple. Watch this. Oh my God. Wait, look at this. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. What do the title say? Look at the title. Look at the title. Tony Yayo on Fat Joe saying during a beef, Joe would have hit Yayo first in the fight. And then what you gonna say? Look, this part 26. Tony Yayo, Fat Joe's Terror Squad was the most dangerous crew. They would die for Joe. You just testified. And then look, he talked to Whack about it. Fat Joe saying he would have attacked Tony Yayo first during their beef. Fat Joe gets emotional talking about his beef with 50 Cent. Told that nigga. Told him. Told him. Told him. Here it come. Here it come. God dog it. Woo, baby. Oh my God, bro. You can't tell niggas nothing. You can't tell niggas nothing. Choke no joke, man. The Tunnel documentary is out right now. Shout out to my man Fredro Starr. I see you trying to recreate where we lived. You know what I'm saying? Choke no joke. Make sure y'all get it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Cluster Stash Movies on YouTube. Oh, man. All right? Yo.
Choke no joke. Yeah. It's choke no joke.
If you new here, hit the like. If you new, you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. Choke no joke, man. Check out the Tunnel documentary. The trailer is out now. Go watch it on Tubi tonight or right here on YouTube. I'll drop the link in there if you want to watch it for free on YouTube. All right. Amazon Prime, Apple TV. Go check it out, y'all. The Tunnel documentary is out right now.
Supreme Bigger Figure, Big Cap, The Warden, The Club King.
The DJ Johnny Walker Red.
MC Frank Jigger, the celebrity's choice.
Sean Brophy, sound engineer.
Choke no joke. Legendary videographer.
Sterling Cox. I was the head of security.
Alpha Grenier.
My name is V.
Omega.
Big G.
Vim Rock from the legendary Naughty by Nature.
Styles P the Ghost, LOX, D Block.
Tech Smith and Wesson.
LB Fan, Mr. Cheeks.
The Cool, the DJ, the Red Alert.
Kid Capri.
The Tunnel was a hip-hop nucleus.
It was the epicenter.
It was the domain, the temple.
It was the Mecca.
Nothing was that melting pot of hip-hop.
They kept the paradigm going. It's almost like what Rucker did for street basketball. The Tunnel was that of music industry.
My Sunday ritual going to the Tunnel was, I'm telling you, your ass better be there.
We just pretty much did push-ups.
We had to drink a couple bottles of Hennessy, go get smoked, leave the jewelry and watches at home.
Before you even get to the tunnel, you gotta get on the block.
You started from 11th Avenue, and when you got to that door, the search procedures was no other.
First time I ever heard of take your shoes off, open your mouth was in the tunnel.
It was damn near everything but a full cavity search.
Security at the tunnel was no joke.
The beatdowns did happen.
Some of them, if you had that chain out, that shit was leaving with one of them niggas.
We had a handful of cats. When we were taking you out, they were digging in your pockets.
The code check at the tunnel was crazy because you didn't know if you was gonna get your shit back.
Sometimes the bloops happen where you might not get your coat.
A lot of boys wanted to get their girls some fur coats, you know? So, I mean, it was free.
The bar was always on till after the tunnel.
You might get fake alcohol. Bartenders might have got counterfeit.
The dance floor is always rocking.
It looked like a video all the time.
The Tunnel had a very unique situation at the bathroom. It was co-ed.
The bathroom was Sodom and Gomorrah.
I was like this, trying to look past the dudes like when they was going in the urinal.
The tunnel was a one-stop shop. They had food, they had alcohol, drugs.
I saw weed the tunnel. It was just oozing money.
Backstage is like the club amongst the club.
That's where all the so-called stars who was scary to be in the crowd, that's where they hung out at.
The dopest things about the tunnel for me to remember is hearing my records get played up in there.
The top
maybe of all-time tunnel banger.
Or anything Bad Boy.
Every Biggie record, any shit by Hov.
Shook Ones was bananas in there.
Nori Capone, that bang bang.
Annie Up.
Any one of Buster joints.
Wild Out would actually start a fight.
The best performance I ever seen, Jay-Z performed in front of the DJ booth. The DJ booth was bouncing like a ball.
Snoop and Dre. When Dre was there.
DMX, Get At Me, Dog.
The king of the tunnel was Jay-Z.
Busta Rhymes.
DMX is the king.
Queen of the Tunnel.
Mary J. Blige.
Foxy and Lil Kim.
Eve.
King of the tunnel record label wise was Def Jam.
Bad Boy.
It done started, y'all. It done started. I'm gonna let y'all read this. Y'all have a good night.
The best DJ at the tunnel was Flex.
Big Cap all day. Flex used to break off the records, but he used to try to bully Cap, like, don't spin this, because when I get here, I want to spin it. No, nigga, fuck wrong with you?
What the tunnel did for artists, it solidified their street music. That gave us a platform, set up Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Bad Boy, slew of other artists.
The closing of the tunnel, it was kind of sad because that was a big piece of hip hop.
So losing the tunnel was like a little kid losing Disney.
A famous mosque closing down.
I think when the tunnel closed, it was necessary. Niggas was coming to miss it.
When you hear people of the late 70s talked about Studio 54, the tunnel was the Studio 54 of hip hop.
Oh yeah. My man had to come through and make sure it went through. Y'all niggas is in trouble. Choke no joke. I ain't no joke, the mixtape. We here now. You already know. Let's go. Choke chillin', got away from them billin'. Ain't shit really changed though, I'm still that villain. I'm making money with rhyme, fuck black on black crime. Beef and money don't mix, like Muslims and swine. I'm talking milk, penicillin, y'all be illin'. Y'all be thinking y'all killers, with your screw face grillin'. Kick that bullshit to me, y'all be wet though like Bruce Lee. And Brandon and Hearst on the highway to heaven. Man, you making mad threats and stuck in one section. I'm OBP like Naughty, making connections. Talking under your breath, get you something you don't need. 2 fully loaded Macs, filled up with heat. Nigga, you sweeter than 30 days for a body. Pop shit to these niggas, see me walk by me. But I ain't looking for no beef, I don't eat bologna. But I bring a whole cow if you run up on me. Shiesty, try me and hype me to peel your wig back like 10 cent icy. Bring it, stop bluffing, I got you threats, they mean nothing. I respond like Bond, I come through on bombing. Playing bodegas, flipping Montega. You tan in the Jacks, I tan in Jamaica. Faker, wouldn't bust if he raped ya. Your chick out blazed her, hit it like Jada. While you blew up a pager, had to breathe like Vader. Your star at war, with the lightsaber. I'm here to lyrically tear your rear, nigga, you a spear. I jack you up, now you out of here. Throw me on the 600. Now fuck your nigga Hummin', blowing down 8th Ave with a bad bitch blunted. I take it there. Y'all niggas don't want it. Y'all niggas don't want it. Y'all niggas don't want it with no joke. Who you thought it be? Represent the NYC. Bring it on if you niggas want some of me. Have y'all niggas feeling it like Jay-Z. No joke. Who you thought it be? Represent the NYC. Bring it on if you niggas want some of me. Bronx King like the LORD-FINE-SC. And that bullshit y'all do, y'all niggas don't stress me. Oh yeah, and you already know, either war what it is. Choke, no joke. I ain't no joke. The mixtape, we here now. Yeah, you know what it is. Choke, no joke. Either war. Rest in peace, Fuego. Don't ask me why. We here now. Choke, no joke. Grego. Rest in peace. You know what it is. Say I neglect her. I love my child. You make me go wild with your parenting style. Only for her, I wear this smile. Cause inside, it's really a grin. If I was a drink, I'd be drunk off gin. I'm not a quitter, I fight to the end. You not gonna dictate who life I'm in. Just mad cause I went from boys to men. Like Wanya and Brandy, the road end. I say it in French, we are thin. I do not like you, you're not my friend. You make me cringe, get under my skin like veins, blood, bagging up cane. Don't know too many dudes that go through these things. Deal with your bullshit and still stay sane. Brains with a blue early in the game. Deadbeat, I'll make you dead me. You wanna see me locked up like me, so I kick back and let the preacher preach. Wisdom of his word, get me through each day. Emancipation on the way. I'ma celebrate from September to May. Till the castle close, we go our way. I just pray she love me one day. Happy Father's Day, I love my child. 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 The worst type of chick, bottom of the pile. Tell him it's his and know that it's mine. Mine's is his. Then run for years. What the fuck was you thinking all those years? What if she needed a donor and needed me there? Family even question her hair. Cause she came from your womb. Do you think that is fair? I remember the day I called you out of nowhere. You heard my voice, all you heard was air. I bet you were hella scared. You said forget her, you better without her. Her's my daughter, this is an order. Try running again and you'll be crawling. Cause I'm coming through like Mike Duggan falling down. This time not fucking around. I wanna see it now and I don't care how. You do it, I do it, move quickly. All the years that you ditched me, and right now you going to hitch me to your back. Take me where she's at, and don't worry, there won't be no clapping. These are the years of me rapping, producing, directing. For you it'd be hectic. I love my child and I don't regret it. Happy Father's Day, I love my child. 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 Take take me to court, bitch, that shit don't hurt me. I've been to court for worse, still survive, see? I know it's not about the money, you file to hurt me. I'm not a deadbeat. When it's all good, you know it's all sweet. When it's all hood, you gotta bear with me. Your girlfriends say take me to court. How you don't ask and then go to court? You know when you ask, things get brought or paid. Emancipation on the way, we'll hang out any given day. Your relationship will fade away. We will get close, you will fade away. Like the baby mama that ran state to state and had to run for about 8 years. Some say how she lived. That might satisfy the father but ruin the kid. Trust me, I speak it cause I live. Ain't another song that info give. That's info for who follow the kid. You went half on the baby, chick you played me. Kidnapped my babies and made them hate me. Y'all ladies don't know, y'all drive us crazy. Fellas, if you out there and you miss your baby, I love my child. Choke no joke. This go out to all the fathers out there that miss their babies. They took our babies from us over money, child support. Now they don't even know us. This go out to you.
Choke no joke. Jack Brown. Yeah now.
Choke no joke. Jack Brown. Yeah. This what ATL in New York sound like. Let's go. Y'all hating ass niggas, I see y'all. Choke get busy, that's why I got the crown. Hate in the air. You clowns, I see the envy that you breathe, jealousy. What you need is your own damn hustle. Stop worrying about mine. Nigga, I'm poppin' cause I put in time. Came out modeling, camera in hand. Still get busy with the mic in hand. Streets pulled out, niggas got sprayed. Niggas turn on you when they see you get paid. The intimidation in your face. Where's the love? What's taking place? You want my gold and my ducats, cause my money overflowing out of buckets. Shot him in public, made people holler. Scar on his face for the money and the power. I'm the choker. Choker. The truth in the industry made me the choker. 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 The truth in the industry made me the game had me fooled, got in, was young. Thought talent made you rich, damn was dumb. More to make, cake from crumbs. You gotta be sweet, G or native tongue. My heartbeat went into overload. When Larry tried to turn me into a mole, told me show my curly to the CEO. I didn't think it's funny, so his jaw hit the floor and grabbed that chair that broke his back. Then realized that's a hate attack. Harassment comes assault, you in the maze. No way out, like Puff and Mace. Touch me, tease me, I catch a case. Nigga, you ain't straight as your poker face. Father law God, in that game I fold. This sun don't tick, demon time don't hold. I'm the choker. Choker. The truth in the industry made me the choker. 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 The truth in the industry made me the choker. Choker. The truth in the industry made me the choker. Choker. On the ones and twos, choker. What y'all want to do? I'm here now. Eden Wall, stand up. Shout out to the bomb squad. Choke, no joke. Yeah. It's choke, no joke. Choke, no joke. Chicken choke, no joke. Choke, no joke.